Okie dokie. Hello and welcome everybody once again. Here we are. It is Friday. It is July 21st, 2017. Ian and Amy are with me again. Hi, guys.
Hey, guys.
Howdy.
Howdy, howdy. Hey, hey, hey.
All right. Today we're going to be talking about basically various things. Nothing too in particular. However, as the title suggested, YouTube is the best thing ever. And why is it so messed up? So we'll be covering some of that stuff. I've got a couple of items on my list I want to discuss. I think Amy has a few things on her list. And we're just going to have a casual conversation, kind of the way we did when we first started the Hangout. And it's going to be like that. So stick with us and we'll see where this takes us. We're going to talk about Justine Damond, the shooting, the cop shooting. What was that, Minneapolis? Started the Hangout.
Yeah, I think it was.
And I also want to cover the teen Vogue magazine that is teaching children about safe ways of having anal sex.
Oh my God!
If you haven't heard about that one, you know, put your
yeah, I missed that one, but you know that is disgusting.
It's getting really bad. Really bad.
It's you know, every minute you how many times do we say, oh, can't get any worse than this? Wrong again.
It gets worse.
Yep. I've got a saying, it can always get worse.
That's actually,
if you guys think it's bad down there, it's getting really bad up here. I mean, with this whole you can't call some, you could actually get, you know, charged for calling somebody the wrong pronoun, or yeah, Mr. or Mrs. And there's also a guy who has got a baby who wants it to be a genderless, so it's on its birth certificate. It's not either. It's not a male or a female. It just says.
Right. Yeah, that was Canada, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a guy here in Vancouver. I mean, I feel sorry for the kid, right? This is almost child abuse. He has no say in any of this, right?
Right.
He won't know any different, of course, because he'd be growing up that way. But still, you know. This is wrong in every sense, but they're letting it happen, and they just slowly but incrementally creating our new Babylon, you know.
Yes, indeed.
You know.
Yeah, no kidding. It's disturbing beyond belief, and I think I'm getting a little bit of an echo from my mic, so I'll have to. Hey, Pam Z, how you doing? I'm gonna have to go check my settings here. And adjust my microphone yet again. This thing likes to adjust its own volume. And for some reason, oh, actually, it's actually down a little bit here. Let me see. Let me see if I can move this slider bar. That ought to be better right there. Can you guys still hear me okay? It's automatically turning itself up again.
What an annoying thing.
I wish I knew how to fix that. Anyway, I don't have time to mess with it right now. So, how have you guys been? Ian, you guys got some serious fires going on up there, buddy. Well, tell us what's going on up, and tell us about your apartment. What happened there?
Well, of course, being pretty hot up here, we're in the hot season up here. So in BC, like pretty much, you know, most of the interior is up in flames right now. They've evacuated many towns and small cities throughout the interior of BC, about 5 all in all. They're hard to control because the wind keeps blowing. But we're pretty safe out here on the island. But we had an incident here at my apartment building where somebody apparently either fell asleep with a cigarette or something. The fire started in the bedroom, and it was just it was about 30 feet from my balcony where the fire was coming out of the windows and out of the balcony door, flames were coming out, smoke, and they had to evacuate the entire building. So I had to spend a couple of days in a motel, and we just left our cats here because they were out of harm's way. But at least nobody got hurt or anything. But a lot of people were displaced. There's a lot of people in here with mental illness and things. It's a lower income building as well. So they went through quite a especially it's a pet-free building, so all outside, everybody's outside out front with their dogs and cats. It was just a big mess. But been going through that, but at least everything's fine. Our family's safe, and we're back home.
Wow. And tell me again, how did it start?
Well, apparently it started in the bedroom, but we haven't really heard how or why. But my guess is that they're young people living in that apartment. They probably fell asleep with a cigarette or were cooking meth or something. Who knows? They're just a bunch of young punks that lived in there anyways, climbing up the balconies when they're locked out and stuff.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, it wasn't too bad, but it was all over our news because not much happened.
So you're sure it wasn't a false flag then, right?
Well, maybe they shot their laser beam at me and it missed. Hit my neighbor.
There you go.
There's a conspiracy and everything.
Yeah. So I mean, did you say it wasn't really on the news?
Oh, it was. It was on the news. Just because there's not much that goes on here in Victoria, BC.
Oh,
so.
okay.
That's newsworthy.
Okay. All right, cool.
Talk of the town, newsworthy.
All right, so Amy, you got a couple things on your list. What would you want to run over this evening?
Oh, good heavens, already?
No, I just wanted to get a little synopsis, I guess. Just try to get an idea of what you had on your mind. We don't have to go into it necessarily right now exactly.
Well, I want to discuss the fact that my channel got hit with a community guideline strike.
Yeah, and we didn't, because we all mirror. I mean,
yeah,
it was a show that we did.
Yes, it was the show Sidethorn.
It was Sidethorn's show. Okay, and I hosted that because I've been hosting all of them for I don't know how long now. I think so, right?
Yeah.
Ian, did you host that one or did I host that one?
I think you hosted it, Aaron.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. So it was on all three of our channels.
Well, my point is that you don't host any, so anything on your channel is going to be a mirror.
Yep.
And so the original uploader doesn't. I wonder if it was one of those YouTube Heroes situations where people gave you a bunch of thumbs down. When didn't you say it was something about bullying?
Well, yeah, they just said I violated community guidelines. They didn't really specify.
Okay.
I don't think. Maybe I didn't look at the notice. I just took a screenshot of it. I know I have it here somewhere. I can take a look and see what it is. But yeah, it's like the thing is that at least 3 people made comments, some more specific than others, about my channel's coming down. One with the TikTok, which I guess is just sort of to say
I got that one too.
Running out. And
yeah,
then
I got that one too.
Got Hoax or Popo actually tell me that my channel was going to come down, while Hoax or Popo also put up a vid that is no longer up at this point, but it had this person, videoing them
screencasting.
Yeah, reporting my channel.
Yeah, I saw that.
And saying things like I'm talking white supremacy,
supporting terrorism.
supporting terrorism, racism, and
Hate
profiting off of anti-LGBT stuff.
Yeah. Profiting
Profiting.
off of LGBT.
Profiting, yeah.
God.
Really
I mean,
profiting there, Amy.
lies all the way down, from top to bottom.
And it's unbelievable that, see, that's kind of that's the stuff that we want to talk about, especially under the title of this evening's show. YouTube is the best thing ever, and why is it so messed up? I actually genuinely believe that YouTube really is, I think, probably the best thing ever, besides, maybe the invention or creation of the smartphone, right? Having literally a pretty damn smart and well-equipped computer in your pocket that can do just an innumerable amount of tasks. I just thought that when the smartphones came along, I thought that was the greatest thing since sliced bread. But the fact is that YouTube is so full of useful information, and not just the stuff that we look at, like, conspiracy minded things, right? Because it's like going to the mall. You're going to get a mixture of everything. You're going to get tall people, short people, dark people, light people, fat, skinny, old, young, dumb, smart. You're going to get them all, right? You're going to get liars. You're going to get honest people. You're going to get it. You're going to get everything. But look, I got my fingers in a lot of pies, and what I mean by that is I'm a contractor, and so I work with tools. I do a lot of remodeling. I use YouTube as a resource sometimes if I need a little information on how to fix this, if I've never tackled it. I've used YouTube to solve problems on my car. I mean, I swear to God, anything you want to know is on YouTube. It's on YouTube. There's 100 people. You pick one subject, any genre, it doesn't matter what it is. There's 100 people that'll show you how to do it. I mean, if you want to play,
know how to scratch your toe without hurting your back. There's probably somebody out there who films and says, "Here's how you can scratch yourself without causing."
Yeah, there's really? a million and a half solution, or 10 million, or 1.5 billion solutions for every problem. Everything you can think of. Learn how to throw knives. Who said that? Illusion shattered. Yep. I mean, literally, quite literally, everything you can think of. You want to learn how to play an instrument? You just name the song and the instrument, and there's 25 people that'll show you how to play that song on that instrument.
Yeah, that's right. There's so many covers out there of songs that you can watch their fingers and with the drums and everything.
Yeah. So I mean, on that front, it really is the best thing ever. I was doing a tile job last month, and when it came, I haven't done a shower build. It's been a long time, and so I just wanted to brush up on what people are doing and what they're saying. And so I looked up, pouring the mortar bed for the shower pan. There's 20, 30 people that'll show you 5 or 10 different ways on how to do that, and then some of them will be sure to show you all the specifications, and some of them will skip steps and say, this is how I do it to get this done faster, tips and tricks, contractor tricks, and what kind of materials to use, what kind of tools to, I mean, you name it, it's out there. Whatever the hell you want to do in life, any answer. It's like Google. It's like asking Google, hey, what's the answer to this? Who did this?
Yeah.
How old is this?
Somebody has mentioned it somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, but you also got the visual component, which makes things, sometimes when you just read words, it's kind of confusing. But if you actually see it in action, it's
right.
like, oh, I get it.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Picture says 1,000 words, and a video says 10,000 words.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who's this? Zoroaster. Smartphone is the Library of Alexandria. Pretty much, it's having a smartphone in your pocket, basically having access to the internet, search engines, Bing, Google, whatever you like to use. Yeah, Blue Blood say, what should I do? People ask Blue Blood, what should they start with when learning the guitar? He says, go to YouTube. It really is the resource of all resources.
Yeah, you can just watch how people play and learn.
I mean, we could probably spend the whole rest of this 3-hour evening just going over all the things, and we wouldn't even scratch the surface.
That's right.
You know, and not to be funny, but quite literally, and when I say everything, I mean everything. I accidentally stumbled onto a YouTube channel, and if I remember correctly, it was called The Sexologist. And it was a video that where this girl, I don't know, she might have been mid-20s or maybe early 30s, basically just talking to the camera and describing how and why people have anal sex. Not something I was looking for.
Really.
But I mean, I'm not going to lie. I was in the genre of that subject because, you know, earlier this week I was researching a couple of things about this Teen Vogue magazine, which I do want to talk about.
Yeah.
And
I don't have any problems with consenting adults doing that, but it is absolutely not appropriate to be showing our kids how to do it. No. You know, it's so freaking unbelievable that this would even happen. In fact, let's go ahead and pull up that article. Let's look at this. I would like to just go over this. There's the kind of the Teen Vogue. Their target market is 11 to 17-year-old girls. We're talking children here. The subject matter in this article, if you hopefully one of you two guys are looking it up while I'm talking and checking the chat here. The subject matter in this article is pretty damn disturbing. It's the kind of subject matter that I, as a mid-40s man, if I were to text message the same exact subject matter verbatim from this article, if I were to text message it to a, say, 12-year-old girl, I would be prosecuted. I don't doubt it.
There it is.
I don't know what.
Who's got it? Is that you, Ian?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll get you highlighted so you stay put there. Okie dokie. Teen Vogue, anal sex. Is that the very top of the art? That's not the top, is it?
Yeah.
That's how it starts. Is
Teen Vogue, guide to anal sex.
a guide to anal
A
sex.
diagram.
Unbelievable. See, I haven't even been to the website. I haven't even looked at the article. I've been hearing this vlogger. It's oh God, what's her name? Something Mommy. It's not like Conspiracy Granny, you know, Sidethorn's partner, but Something Mommy. She's got a pretty good sized YouTube channel. She was just interviewed on Richie Allen last week on this subject. No prostate massage for me, thanks. Broadsword. Richie Van Claren? Rich Van Claren, he says, and they're teaching it in elementary school. Are they really?
Like only in a messed up society where we'd actually, you know, call people queers as a type of person, you know, like
the anus is full of nerve endings that, for some, feel awesome when stimulated. Why anal? Anal sex. Hang on, hold still there. Let me get my glasses here.
anal sex, though often stigmatized, is a perfectly natural way to engage in sexual activity. People have been having anal sex since the dawn of humanity.
Stop right there. Is a perfectly natural way to engage in sexual activity. Wrong. No. And now I know some people will argue that animals do it, right? The animal world, there are many instances.
Are there? I had never heard of any, but I'm not going to say I know everything about what goes on there.
Yeah,
Mostly, they just have sex for procreation. Mostly.
right.
Well, yeah, they just, yeah.
Well,
That's really
obviously, monkeys and chimpanzees, gorillas, they actually have a lot of sex just for the fun of it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
There are instances.
Jeez, what a visual.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you. Anyway, go on.
Moving on.
Keeping it light, keeping it light. There are instances I've seen and heard of certain animal species that do engage in homosexual behavior, including anal sex. However, the majority of those instances are actually, I think, misqualified. They're misrepresented as being nothing more than a dominant behavior. I mean, I've got a female dog, a little dog. She's a Chihuahua and a Wiener dog mix. So she's mostly a dachshund.
Hmm.
And I've got 3 big dogs, right? They're Labrador sized. And on several occasions, it's not constant, but they'll be wrestling on the floor, and then the little dog will get down there with the big dogs, and she'll grab onto one of them by the hip and start humping. She's a female. She has no need to even engage in that kind of behavior, but it's a dominant thing. So in the animal world, that's really, really arguable. But the idea that engaging in anal sex is a perfectly natural way, and no, I just can't even go past that sentence.
They're
Some
certainly
poop.
trying to normalize this behavior, which isn't something children should. We shouldn't be teaching them about sex, really.
No, period.
It's like when they start getting 10, 11, 12, maybe,
For no reason.
but they're starting to get into their maturity, their pubescence.
Yeah.
And then maybe that's when they should be given some clues. But,
Pull that back up, Ian.
6, 7, 8 years old, no, that's
They're
inappropriate.
called children for a reason.
Yeah, not adults, absolutely.
Exactly. And they mature into adults slowly and gradually,
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. That's why every human being on earth tries their best to shelter their children from, they do their best. You can't shelter them entirely. They're going to be exposed to this and that on occasion. But, to market to children anal sex, that's just fucking wrong.
That is totally wrong.
That's really wrong.
We've talked on this show about the moral decline, and I've brought up Yuri Bezmenev, the Russian KGB guy who gives the interview. He says that communism's long-term plan is to destroy the moral values of a country before they bring it down.
Yep.
What do you got there? If you are not comfortable reading about anal sex, that's perfectly okay too. We have plenty of other articles around a variety of issues and wellness. Feel free to click out if you like. No pressure at all. Interesting.
Anyway, we'll
words.
just go on with our magazine that thousands, millions of people read anyways.
Right.
Right? Who cares?
Children.
Even though it's wrong, like it's, they say if you're not comfortable, well then, if somebody's not comfortable about something, then it obviously is not right. Unless they're really like highly Christian or something or other, right?
Yeah.
But you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
if they have to say that
if they have to go and do damage control,
if
right?
most people
then
aren't uncomfortable, they wouldn't have to say that. But clearly they have to say that, trying
Yeah.
to, oh, just accept it, okay? And
Perfectly
go
natural.
yeah, it's perfectly natural. Oh, what a load of
No, it's
right.
not. I'm sorry, it's not.
Yep, it is
I don't
not.
care what's up there for stimulation. I've never been one of those guys, and I know guys that talk about it. I've never seen them do it, but they talk like they like it and they do it, and it just turns me off. I don't even like talking about it with my guy friends. It's just fucking gross to me. I'm sorry, I'm just not that. I'm not into it at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I do
almost-
understand that there are some,
Yeah.
stimulation points up there, and if that's your thing, that's your thing. But for Christ's sakes, it doesn't need to be in a fucking magazine marketed to 11 to 17-year-olds. Okay, there's just
Yeah.
that's wrong on numerous levels. I can't even get over that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're normalizing sexual deviance. I don't even know if you can call it sexual deviance, but it,
Well, it really is sexual deviance, Ian. It really
I was
is.
just gonna say
I don't want to go
I'd put it there.
I'm sorry.
too over.
I don't really care who I offend on this subject. It is sexual deviance. Okay, sex is a penis and a vagina. Okay,
Yeah.
that's sex.
The more lube, the better.
Oh, my client, who I'm doing this tile job for, she's somebody I've worked for nearly 15 years, maybe 16 years. Long time I've been working for her. She has a daughter who she homeschooled, thank God. And however, her daughter interacts with lots and lots of kids who are not. They're active in their church, and so she's got lots of friends between church and Girl Scouts and what other sport activities she's involved in. She's very active. She's very social. She just doesn't go to public school. But all her friends pretty much go to public school. And the word on the street is the big thing at the high school, which is literally right around the corner from me, is that they're giving oral sex in the bathrooms these days.
Lovely.
So, I mean, even when I was growing up, there was plenty of sex. There were lots of dating. Right? I mean, everybody's been through high school. Okay, we've all had sex as teenagers. But I mean, things are just going off the damn rails these days. And
Speaking of going off the rails, have you seen this?
I have seen it. Go ahead, bring it up.
8-year-old drag queen Lactatia says if your parents don't let you do drag, you need new parents.
It's just
And this little girl is a big sensation right now.
Rich Van Claren said they teach that the anus is a sex organ, if you can believe that.
oh no. What's its function in reproduction then?
Right. Right.
I'm
And
not
if that's true, then so is my hand and so is an avocado.
Yeah, yes. I don't even want to put that picture in my
Yeah. Sorry, I don't mean to put images in your head, but yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, if that's the case, then any and everything is a sex organ.
Yes.
Good God. A bar of soap, a soft cotton sheet, a
hot dog bun.
Yep, hot dog buns are the best.
I'm not speaking from experience here, but I promise.
All right.
Don't get that visual in your head, please.
No, I don't want it.
Just picture those intermissions at old drive-in movies.
Reproduction is what determines the function of a sex organ.
Those intermissions at old drive-in movies were almost sexual.
If it's part of reproduction, it's a sex organ. Otherwise, it doesn't qualify as a sex organ.
Okay, Johnny Supertramp, I just added you as moderator also because we can't always keep an eye on the chat and we are heavily trolled. So thank you guys for your assistance in that arena. Yeah, we're still talking about anal sex, Johnny. Sorry. All right, listen, there's something else I wanted to go over on the anal sex front. Not that I'm obsessed or anything. I'm going to go looking for an article here in a moment, as soon as I get this computer screen straightened out. And by the way, anybody who's a moderator, if you see anything from SCL, I don't care what comes after it, SCL, they're out instantly. So there's about a dozen or so. Hey, what's up? China to 3 is in here with us.
Yeah.
China. I do believe SCL is our old friend Hoaxiashian, sick of the bullshit.
Paul Taylor.
Anti-troll Paul Taylor. I'm pretty sure that's him. And I also am pretty sure that he is part of OPM, Online Persona Management. And it's a pretty disturbing thing. I've talked about it before. If you guys are not familiar, I urge everybody to get themselves familiar with OPM. It's a deep rabbit hole. Anyway, on the front, I really want to get off the subject of anal sex, but there is something I do want to bring up on that front, because literally the very next day after I heard the interview on Richie Allen from the YouTuber, God, I wish I could remember the first part of her name, something mommy. It's like Truther Mommy or Conspiracy Mommy or something like that. Literally the very next day on Good Morning America, the morning talk show. Now, I don't watch it. It's on the TV in the background. My wife watches it. And I caught it out of the corner of my eye. There was a story about new rules for gender identity in advertising.
What?
New rules.
What does that mean?
Yeah, really. I'm afraid to find out.
So, China, do you want to come in and talk to us? I'd love to have you come and hang out with us, man. We've got spots open here, and we're just hanging out, having a conversation. We're going to go over Justine Damond and I don't know, a couple of other things that Amy's got written down. Oh, I've got a food stamp article I want to show you guys. Other than that, it's pretty much open conversation tonight. No, it's not Conspiracy Granny. That's Sidethorn's partner. It's something mommy. And I just, for the life of me, I could find it in a minute. I'll have to go over to Richie Allen's page because he just interviewed her a couple days ago.
I'll find it while we're chatting.
Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to YouTube story channel. I'm going to give you the link if you want to come hang out with us. Let's see. All right.
Activist Mommy, is that?
Activist Mommy, thank you.
Okay, that makes sense.
Elizabeth Johnston.
Yes, thank you. That's YouTube story 2.
So it's right here.
There she is.
No.
Hey, Pablo Damon's in here. How you doing, Paul? You missed the best part of the show. We were talking about Teen Vogue marketing anal sex to children.
Lovely.
We really didn't even cover that article very much in depth, but I mean, honestly, there are stuff in that article, like I said, that if I was to text message that stuff to a 12-year-old child, I would absolutely be freaking prosecuted in a heartbeat.
Yep. So why are we teaching it to our children if it's stuff you can be prosecuted for? Why aren't they prosecuting teachers?
People that decide to allow it are psychopaths.
Well, yeah. And they're in control on our planet.
They're the think tanks.
Damn it. China to 3, I'm on your page right now. I'm not seeing an about tab, otherwise, so I can't send you like a message.
We know they're all
Wait a minute.
Satanists that are not will allow this stuff because this is their playground, right?
Ah,
So to
damn it.
speak.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, if you take the About tab off.
Yeah, you need to.
then we have
And if
no
you
way.
enable your About tab, then I'll send you a private message. I'll give you the link if you want to come hang out with us. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead, and I'm actually going to go ahead and see if I can find this other article about new rules. In the meantime, Amy,
Yeah.
what do you think about this character you and I are engaged in conversation with on my recent garden video? The guy who thinks GM is just awesome, and
He's a paid shill.
think so?
Oh yeah.
He should. I mean, look. I mean,
He's-
maybe he is. He's certainly spending a lot of time talking to us.
Yeah, that's my clue. You know, if he really believed all that, you know, and you know, he keeps bringing up the controlled sources, you know, like Wikipedia, Scientific American. I mean, Scientific American is just, I mean, it used to be a really good publication back in the day, but anymore, if it doesn't fall within their, you know, the psychopaths guidelines, it doesn't get published there.
That's right.
So we know that's a controlled piece of garbage, and you know, he's clearly working us. And you know, it's like what really blew me away is that it right from the get-go, that guy, what was his name? I already forgot the name. The one who did the 2-year study with the same rats and the same number that Monsanto did with you know, to get approval for their GM corn. And
Yeah.
he ran the same study with the same number of rats, and this guy seems to think it's okay that Monsanto did a 3-month study that, you know, showed no problems
Right.
in 3 months
3 months.
with that number of rats, but there's a problem with this other guy doing his study with that number of rats. It's not a valid test because he didn't use enough rats. Well, then Monsanto's study isn't good either. And the interesting thing is,
3 months.
I noticed he focused on the tumors, and it wasn't just the tumors that they were seeing. Yes, that particular strain of rats is prone to developing cancers, but they showed signs of organs, some of which were enlarged and some of which were shrunk. And you can't say that, you know, the control group of rats did not have any organ malformation. So you can't say that that's just part of, you know, what their genetic makeup is. Because that's what he was trying to say. Sure, if you do a 2-year study, you're going to get a lot of tumors. Well, the control group didn't get a whole lot of tumors. The ones eating GMO did. But the ones eating GMO also had the malformation in the internal organs.
Okay, so for everybody who's trying to understand what we're talking about here, this is my video where I basically I did some canning. I've got my garden is producing like crazy, and in order to preserve that, we did some canning. So here down in the comment section, And I don't mind a good conversation. I don't mind, rational discourse. And this guy, he's not being abusive. He starts off saying,
No.
everyone used to farm organically in the past. They used to suffer from malnutrition, and I'll get to that in a moment. Used to suffer from malnutrition and regularly starved when their crops failed. Fair enough.
Okay, yeah.
They led very hard and often short lives. Yeah, okay, because the work was hard and maybe, access to, decent medical wasn't readily available.
They didn't have a
Breeding
good
as many
job.
children as they could to increase the odds on surviving. Yes, that's true. Modern farming and modern medicine, thank you. That we're not talking about modern medicine. Modern farming and modern medicine has transformed farmers' lives. Well, modern medicine has transformed everyone's lives. Modern
Yes.
modern farming has transformed everyone's lives. However, let's get to this malnutrition thing here. They used to suffer from malnutrition. Well, that may be true for some. That may be true for some. Back in the old days when we didn't have interstate highways and trading with other countries
right.
where you could
Have
get,
supermarkets. No.
you didn't have a
Right.
supermarket where you could go and get avocados all year long.
Right.
They didn't have the access.
They didn't
and so
have-
they were-
Resources.
Thank
a
you.
lot of people were stuck eating just one thing.
That's right. Eat what they could grow and what they could find and what they
Right.
could gather and what they could hunt. That's it.
Yep.
So
Yep.
sure, there was absolutely malnutrition. I mean, what is it? What's the condition? Scurvy. You don't get enough
Yeah.
citrus, scurvy.
Right.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I mean, if you live in certain parts of the world where there's just no citrus and you're not getting any fruits and berries, then yeah, people suffered scurvy. So absolutely, there was all kind of malnutrition, but that has nothing to do with GMOs. Thank you very much.
Yes, that's a straw man argument.
So this next comment that he leaves here, which is a big one, I'm not going to read the whole thing. And in fact, this whole thread is 32 comments long. I'm not going to go over the whole thing. Yield can be increased by breeding and through the addition of GM traits. Improvements from traditional breeding have contributed to modest but steady increases in yield. Marker-assisted breeding has nearly doubled the rate of yield gain when compared to traditional breeding alone. GM traits such as insects and herbicide tolerance, and I'll get to that, help to increase yields by protecting the yield that would otherwise be lost due to insect or weeds. Blah, 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 blah. I read this comment and I thought, wow, this guy either knows what he's talking about or he Googled it. So what I did was I copied and pasted.
Yeah.
I
Good
took
idea.
the second sentence down right here. Actually, no, I took the first sentence. Yield can be increased by breeding and through the addition of GM traits. I just copied that and I dropped it into Google, and up came the same article where he pulled this from. So
Right.
I know that this is a copy and paste answer right here.
Right.
Now,
Well,
it's
I mean,
not-
to his defense, he read it, so he just copied me. But still, like, if he feels so strongly about it, he could put it in his own words.
So Papa Bear gets involved somewhere along here. He says, really? I've read from various sources that once humans started farming about 10,000 years ago, their health plummeted, as did life expectancy. It is only with today's health care, and I use the term loosely, that we are now living as long as we used to. So the reply, and by the way, this guy is called FEMA Death Camp Control. Interesting name. Validity of not having Monsanto herbicide, pesticide saturated GMO fucking crops.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, the thing is, with the GM, I'm not specifically against genetically modified food. I'm specifically against a company that basically gets away with not label that. If it's so safe and it's so good, then label it, right? Because they won't label it, that gives you suspicion altogether, doesn't it? Because they know that the majority of the people out there will be, if they label it, they won't buy it. You see? So they're being dishonest to themselves. And they've also got the Monsanto Protection Act, which they initiated way back in like 2010, or where they're basically not liable for any health or death caused by their products. They're not liable.
So check this comment he says here. People like you will be the reason why food production will become unsustainable in the future. You would rather people starve than admit you were wrong about GMOs.
Oh, there's an ad hominem.
That is such a shill thing to say.
That's a logical fallacy.
You know, I don't like throwing those words around, calling people names and shit, but that's just fucking retarded. First of all, you would rather people starve than admit you were wrong about GMOs. None of us would rather people starve, asshole, just in case you're listening.
Yeah, really.
None of us want anybody to starve. People like you will be the
fallacy.
reason why food production will become unsustainable. Really? Really?
That's
You seen how much fucking food is coming out of my little garden in my backyard? Are you kidding me?
Really.
There's not, and here's my response. The only thing unsustainable is the current business model.
Yep.
When it comes to healthy food, nothing beats nature. By the way, and blah, blah, blah. I told him, if you're going to copy and paste, just let us know.
Yeah, really. Yeah, you know, and you take things like the vertical farming that they've got going on these days. You know, in the very small space, you can make enough food to feed gazillions. You know, I mean, a lot of people. And I sit here and I think to myself, the reason that we have food shortage at all, because really we produce something like about 125% of all the food we can eat. But there is such a large percentage, anywhere between 30 and 40%, they say, that spoils before it is sold, because we are distributing by profit and not by need or desire.
Right. So I asked the guy, so what are you ultimately selling here? That GMOs are safe and healthy? That Monsanto or their science is trustworthy? By the way, the science of their genetic manipulative superiority, or the science that they say it's safe, that their business practices are sound, that creating GMO crops that can handle stronger and stronger pesticides and herbicides are somehow more healthy than natural products. Are you trying to tell me that gardening my own food is less healthy when 0 pesticides or herbicides are used? And I quote him, he says, no evidence GMOs are less healthy. He said that earlier in the thread, and I'm calling bullshit on that one.
You got to remember, the people that run this, the CDs, what is it? I've lost my, I don't know what alphabet agency it is that controls the food.
FDA.
They go in and out. It's like a turnstile within Monsanto and the government.
Yeah, that's right. It's called the revolving door.
It's a huge conflict of interest.
That's right.
Huge.
That's right.
So their business model at all.
Here, he says, I'm not selling any. See, I have not read this response yet, because this thread goes on, and I haven't been back here until just now. He says, I'm not selling anything. I'm telling you that you have 0 evidence that GMOs aren't safe and healthy. That's bullshit.
Yes.
That's absolute bullshit. And then he goes on, he says, and that the papers you people seem to rely on are based on highly flawed studies. Really, really, really? Oh, is that a fact? And the papers that you rely on were actually produced by Monsanto, dipshit. So talk about highly flawed studies. It's the fox guarding the hen house.
Yeah.
So here he is going back to Google, dropping links. This study here, blah, blah, blah. I'll come back and I'll check this shit later. But you know what? I don't even have time to argue with this fucking nutcase here.
Well, what they did was they basically railroaded the study where he took the same number of rats of the same breed, fed them the same food for 2 years instead of 3 months. The 3-month study was used to gain approval for putting GMO into our environment. And He did it for 2 years, and like I said, he came up with all these problems that the rats had, not just the tumors, although those were the things you could see when you looked at them.
Well, one of the ostensible reasons that I remember being cited for the reason that they wanted to promote and utilize the GMOs, if I remember correctly, the main reason that was cited was that they were having problems that their herbicides and pesticides weren't working because the bugs and the weeds were becoming immune or used to it.
Yep.
So they wanted to use something stronger. And by the way, I would remind everyone, if you are of the mindset where you like to wash your vegetables before you eat them, of course, if you're eating raw, that's always a good idea.
Yeah.
However, you're not washing off the pesticides and herbicides. They are oil-based. They're not water-based, because if they were water-based, they'd be absolutely useless to a farmer. As soon as it watered the crop or as soon as it rained, all the pesticides and herbicides would wash off.
Yep. And a lot of times the pesticides and herbicides get absorbed into the vegetable matter.
They absolutely do.
So that's why I try to stick to organic. And let me tell you, it's a challenge on $196 a month to eat off of.
A lot of people argue and say, well, it's only in a small quantity. It's diluted so much that it won't affect you. Well, it doesn't matter. Any amount is not.
Yeah, they've shown
the right amount.
Oh, okay, I'll tell you what. If you came over to my house and I was going to make you guys dinner, and you were watching me prepare a meal, and then you watched me go into my pantry or my laundry cabinet and grab a bottle of bleach and take a little teaspoon of bleach and drop it in the pot of boiling water that I'm about to make your noodles out of or something like that. You guys would probably not want to eat dinner, right?
I think not.
Right? You'd at least ask me, what the fuck are you doing?
Yep.
You try to stop me. You wouldn't, and I'd say, well, it's just a little bit. This is a big pot. It'll dilute. It's fine. Right? Would you still eat my meal?
Really?
Well, no, because
Yeah, it's like, no, you tainted it, and so that's what they're doing. They've tainted all of our food badly.
they've tainted our DNA probably by now, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, we are so beset between the chemtrails and the herbicides and pesticides that they, I mean, it's almost as if they left good herbicides and pesticides like, I don't know, ladybugs. They're really good for aphids.
I'm almost not surprised that this guy, FEMA Death Camp Control, is so heavily engaged with us under this particular video, because it's the third one that I've made telling Monsanto to fuck themselves.
Yep.
And it's the third video I've created with Monsanto in the title while I'm harvesting my vegetables.
Yep.
Or canning my vegetables. So it's no surprise to me that maybe I've gained the attention of Monsanto or an agent of Monsanto.
Well,
and hang on.
Okay,
let me finish. And we've talked about OPM, online persona management, right? That's just the military. And how many times have I said that's just the U.S. military?
Right.
There's no laws, no regulations. Nobody's even talking about corporate interests in creating sock puppets to go around the internet promoting this and shooting down that and creating arguments over this and that, right?
Yep.
Just like the YouTube on YouTube, we've talked about on last week. We talked about how you can buy subs,
likes and subs.
You can buy views, you can buy likes, shares, which basically means that there's a company that provides that. There is a company that has 100 or 200 or 1,000 people in their employ who sit in a giant building. It's nothing but a bunch of fucking cubicles and computers, and these people's job is to run around the internet, and they'll get a list on their desk in the morning, attack this person, subscribe to this person, share this person's video, like this person's video, go over here and talk shit to this guy, go over here and argue with that guy, give a thumbs down over there. So just like you can buy thumbs up, and just like you can buy likes and shares, you can also buy thumbs down. You can buy flags. You can pay people to go around and flag videos. You can pay people to go around, just like this guy in my comment thread. Hey, Johnny. You pay people to go around and come to my comment thread and shill for Monsanto.
Look at this, Darren. Like, I'm going to show you something. This is from 2011. I'm going to share this with you.
By the way,
This article here from The Guardian. Okay. Go ahead, Amy.
I just wanted to say that FEMA death camp person is the account that put TikTok on.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Right. So here in 2011, right, this article revealed U.S. spy operation that manipulates social media. Military sock puppet software creates fake online identities to spread propaganda. Right. And this is from 2011.
So this isn't even part of OPM. This is an algorithm.
This was way before. Like,
this isn't even OPM. This is a program.
Yeah, this is what you'll see on Facebook, right? This is what when you put out a video about, just like we're talking about, like Monsanto, right? You'll get all these trolls coming on there defending Monsanto. You put out a video about chemtrails, you get all these chemtrail apologists on there, right? And you'll get wrapped up in conversations with a robot, with an AI identity.
Sean Gibson said Indian call centers. That's exactly what I was thinking of when I was talking about that.
There's Hasbro ones too.
And thank you, Sean, for saying that, because there was something about farmers in India that I wanted to bring up that I remember a year or two ago, maybe a little bit longer, maybe 3-4 years ago, there was all kind of articles around, and they're probably still available, talking about how farmers in India are committing suicide in alarming rates because Monsanto comes in, sells the seeds, and then the seeds are copyrighted, so you cannot use, and by the way, they're Terminator seeds. They won't grow. So the farmer is forced to repurchase his entire seed stock, which is the exact opposite of what farmers used to do. Thank you. Thank you, GMO. So then the farmers, if, for instance, if there's a drought and the crop doesn't come in, the guy can't pay his bills, or maybe he doesn't have enough money left over to buy more seeds to replant, and he doesn't have any seeds because his GMO crops won't freaking regrow. And the culture is such that they can't handle the stress, the pressure, and their livelihood going in the toilet. And so the suicide rate among farmers in India is just, it's staggering.
Yeah, Pablo brought up the Codex Alimentarius, which
yes,
the Latin for food code. Yes,
yes,
yeah. That's really a utterly disgusting piece of work that I don't consent to.
And it goes underreported. Now, Rima Liebau was screaming her head off about that years ago, and she continues to do so, but she's not getting much airtime these days. Go ahead, Ian. What article you got there?
Got the seeds of suicide.
You found how Monsanto destroys farming.
Yeah,
this is from Global Research, which is usually pretty accurate about most. So yeah,
Monsanto's talk of technology tries to hide its real objectives of control over seeds, where genetic engineering is a means to control seed. Monsanto is an agricultural company. We apply innovation and technology to help farmers. No, you're not helping anybody, fuckers. Produce more while conserving more. No, you're not. Producing more, conserving more, improving farmers' lives. Improving farmers' lives. And the article goes on to talk about how farmers are killing themselves, right? Is this one of those?
Yep.
These are promises that Monsanto India's website makes, alongside pictures of smiling, prosperous farmers from the state of Maharashtra.
Yeah,
Maharashtra. This is a desperate attempt by Monsanto and its PR machinery to de-link the epidemic of farmers' suicides in India from the company's growing control over cotton seed supply. 95% of India's cotton seed is now controlled by Monsanto. Control over seeds is the first link in the food chain because seeds are the source of life. When a corporation controls seeds, it controls life, especially in the life of farmers. Monsanto concentrated control over the seed sector in India as well as across the world is very worrying. This is what connects farmer suicides in India to Monsanto versus Percy Schmeiser in Canada to Monsanto versus Brown in the US, and to the farmers in Brazil suing Monsanto for $2.2 billion for unfair collection of royalty. I'll also point out, if the article doesn't, we don't have to read the whole thing. I'll also point out that there are numerous examples of farmers being sued by Monsanto because the freaking GMO crops next door blew some pollen into their field.
Yeah, that's sad, isn't it?
Yeah, that's wretched.
Yeah.
All right, well, a company that engages that kind of fucking business practices is low on my trust list. And for anybody to try to tell me that GMOs are safe and these are the guys that are making GMOs, I doubt that, just simply based on their business practices and their lack of morality.
And also remember, Monsanto created an aluminum-resistant seed. They patented that. So when you're thinking about chemtrails, you're thinking about, okay, these are immune. They'll be immune to chemtrail.
Right.
Great and safe. They love us. They want to help us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's their goal.
I see us all grow and thrive.
Right.
Right.
Oy vey. Blue blood. The clear roof on your greenhouse is from Israel? Is that a joke, Jay?
Well, I just pulled up an article before about Israel. They were paying $2,000 to Israeli students to go and disrupt conversations online, right?
All right, China to 3 is going to go sign into a different account that has his About tab enabled. So he'll probably be popping in here. He'll come back, and when he comes back in the chat room, somebody let me know he's back, and then we'll go give him the link.
Okay, I've tried. He said to connect up via Skype, and I did send him a request, but that's been
okay. Well, in that case, China to
quite a while.
check your Skype. Amy sent you a connect, and she can get you the link that way. And you can use this account or whatever if you're still listening, if you haven't signed out already. Boneless Rocker. This bill is directed at companies and can be used against people. It makes a crime to boycott Israel over the Gaza Strip.
Yeah, well, it's over boycott. It's over the boycott divestment thing. It's right here. UBC in referendum.
Oh, he's talking about something he said earlier. Anyone can see the bill in the Senate that will send someone to jail for 20 years if you boycott Israel.
Well, here's my thought.
That is fucking tyranny right there, guys.
Yes, that is.
You know what? If I don't want to buy your product, how about fuck you? It's almost like it's almost like the healthcare bill, right?
That's right.
How many people scream their heads off that you can't force people to buy a product from a private company?
But if you don't like your doctor, you don't have to keep your doctor. You can keep your doctor. I promise. Sorry. Hey, was that a good impression? Yeah. Trying to keep this light.
China says, wait till
the first hour. We'll be like ready to shut it down and go kick a fence.
China says, wait till they power down the sex robots for not paying your your rental agreement.
We got to get rid of money. We absolutely have to get rid of money. We've got to get rid of money. We have to get rid of money. All money. We've got to get free energy out.
Wade 57 says Monsanto hired a helicopter to fly over farmland canola fields to spot non-contract growers.
Yes, they did actually.
What slime balls? I mean,
and they landed one of the helicopters right next door, and they came over and they gave him a huge fine, and he's facing jail time and everything. Victims of that.
Oh,
quite a while ago. That was 4 years ago.
broadsword. if you want to know who rules over you, look at who
Look
you
who you
cannot
can't
criticize
criticize. I
or
know.
boycott, for that
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
But I still say that
Wow.
that's kind of an artificial divide because
Yeah.
you know
It is.
they want the Jew and the non-Jew divide as much as they
Yeah.
want the black and the white divide, and they
And the
want
Christian and the Muslim
and the
yeah.
Christian and the Muslim and the police and the non-police and the
Police,
you
the
know
polka dotted striped ones
anybody
against the
anybody
purple
but the psychopaths in
leopard skin
control.
ones.
Broadsword says, and I agree. He says, so true. If you want to know who rules over you, look at who you cannot criticize.
That's what I just said. That's what I just read.
There,
I'm
that's
sorry,
a famous.
Amy.
That's a
I
famous.
zoned out. I was reading. I'm sorry.
And
That's a famous quote.
yeah, it is. I forget who coined it, but that's all right. We all know the quote, and that's what matters.
Wow.
It is quoted by Voltaire. It says, "To learn who rules over you." Where's it? To learn who rules over you, simply find out who you are not allowed to criticize.
Yep.
Okay, guys. While we're waiting for China to,
Yeah, he still hasn't connected to me.
China, if you're listening, Amy sent you a Skype.
I hope I got. There were three people under the name you offered in the chat. One says China to 3 on it, and
Was there an icon associated
yes, there was.
with all three?
No,
Okay.
the other two. One's in Switzerland. I figured that probably wasn't who we needed, but one is in Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, and it says live.
Toronto, Vancouver. What does that mean?
It says Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver. That's all it says
I see. Okay.
on the profile. Timbuktu, Canada.
No such
went
place.
for the one. I went for the one with the guy's face I recognized.
Holy shit. Okay, so
The other two are just little blue dots,
So I've got the that other article up here about the gender identity in advertising. There's plenty of stuff to look at here. Gender identity is changing, so must advertising, and that's is that Cannes Lions. Next one down here is why advertising industry should cheer new rules on gender. I'll have a look at that in a second. New transgender identity and expression regulations, July 1st, 2017. We'll probably have a look at that one. Commission on Sexual Orientation and Gender Identity, AmericanBar.org. Huh. Interesting there. Supreme Court, advertisement, these moving, hundreds changed the gender identity in wake of new city rule. That's in New York. Check this out. HUD releases 2 new rules covering language and gender identity. This is HUD, the Housing and Urban Development. This is a federal agency. HUD releases 2 new rules covering language and gender identity. We got to look at. You know what? Let's just look at that one first. I want to see what HUD. Unbelievable. So, Ian, you were saying that in Canada that they are already implementing that law where you get in trouble for using the wrong pronoun?
It's reached its final decisions yet. It isn't completely into law yet.
Okay.
I just want to find out about that. I'll just Google it here.
Housing and Urban Development. HUD releases 2 new rules covering language proficiency, gender identity. The Department of Housing and Urban Development clarified regulation standards. According to a new guideline, landlords are prohibited from using limited English proficiency as a reason for intentional discrimination. Intentional discrimination? According to new guidelines, according to the new guidance, landlords are prohibited from using limited English proficiency as a reason for intentional discrimination.
Yeah, right here. Here, I'll share. Oh, you're sharing.
HUD also amended the 2012 Equal Access Rule to include protection for transgender and gender non-conforming individuals. Why is that even necessary? We're talking about HUD here. Amended the 2012 Equal Access Rule to include Equal Access Rules. Okay, whatever. Department of Housing and Urban Development released 2 major updates this week regarding the treatment of buyers and renters who have limited English proficiency or are members of the transgender community. Okay, so buyers and renters who have limited English proficiency, we're talking about illegal aliens here, or potentially legal aliens who just haven't, gotten very good at English. I don't want to bash, all people from all over the place. New guidance for renters. September 15th, HUD issued new guidance on Fair Housing Act protections for people who have limited English proficiency. The FHA only covers discrimination on 7 protected bases, such as race, color, origin, or sex, which would leave the 9% of renters who have limited English proficiency out in the cold. I don't see. I would like to know how exactly. Fair housing protections at the FHA national origin provision now covers English proficiency. Quote, having a limited ability to speak English should never be a reason to be denied a home. Well, yeah, duh. Why do we need laws for that? Fair housing, equal opportunity, but HUD identified a loophole that now allows this demographic to be officially protected. I don't care what language you speak. When it comes to buying a house, this should be a non-issue. I mean, there's always somebody around who can translate. And now we've got Google. And now we've got Dragon software. My cell phone, I can download an app where you can talk into it in any language and it'll repeat it back to me in English.
Wow.
This should be a non-issue. You not seen those apps? Yes.
Well, I don't have a phone.
Well, okay, and you don't watch TV, but okay, so you haven't heard of this. So yeah, there's an app that you can get on your cell phone where, like, say you're traveling abroad and they don't speak English and you don't understand, and you're trying to go to the market or trying to buy something or talk to somebody, and you just push the button on your app and the guy talks, the phone hears, and it translates and it repeats it back in Siri's voice or whatever voice you choose, and it repeats it back to you in English. So yeah, that's a non-issue. This is a non-issue. It doesn't need to be protected. I don't understand what the problem is. But see, this is HUD. This is all about language. Sexual orientation, gender identity rule. 2012 HUD released the Equal Access Rule that guaranteed housing assisted or insured by HUD would be open to all eligible families and individuals without regard to actual or perceived sexual orientation, gender identity, or marital status. Yeah. However, families and individuals could be turned away from single-sex emergency shelters with shared sleeping areas and bathrooms.
Oh, great.
Okay, so it's like a women's shelter is what we're talking about here. Single-sex emergency shelters. You know what I mean? Battered women's shelters, those kind of things.
Right.
Equal Access Rule now covers transgender. But according to the new rule, the new final rule released on September 20th, transgender and gender non-conforming individuals, like that little freaking child abused thing that you brought up earlier, Ian, that kid. What was that kid's name? Not important.
Quebec. It had a French name.
Not important.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a word from China. I just want to let you know, apparently he says he might not be able to do the Hangout because he's using a drop phone. Anyway.
Using a drop phone?
Yeah.
This is the stat. I'm in this Bill C-16, okay? This is what we're talking about with the gender.
Hang on, I'll go ahead and I'll undo and you can share here. And then I'll come back and we can look at some of the other ones maybe. I want to go ahead, Ian.
So I got this Bill C-16 here, okay? and of course it goes to Queen Elizabeth II, right? It has to go. It's been passed by everything. It's now into royal assent. Okay, so once we pass it here, it has to go and get signed by the Queen. Okay, so in section 2, subsection 3, the act is replaced by the following. This is an amendment to the act. For all purposes of the act, the prohibited grounds of discrimination are race, national or ethnic origin, color, religion, age, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, or expression. Right in the law here. So all this law is going to be pretty much rubber stamped, okay? Because they're going to send it to the Queen to get the final, you know, to the royal.
That creepy
crown.
kid, Broadsword, thank you, was named Lactatia.
Lactatia, that's right, yeah. And yeah.
The thing that really irritates me is that they put the word race in there. I'm sorry, there's only one human race.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, what do you mean race? You know, I mean, are you discriminating between humans and cats or something? Oh.
So here's this story here. I'll share this really quickly with you. There's a story here about.
By the way, Johnny Supertramp, did you know that I've had to resubscribe to you like 3 times? Just so you know. Another situation where you're being auto unsubbed. I think I am too. Never mind. Go ahead, Ian. Baby Storm 5 years later, preschooler on top of the world. What is this?
I think this isn't.
Look, Illusion Shattered just said, "Oh my God, just checked, unsubbed."
Yeah, that wasn't the right article I was looking for.
Broadsword said the drag queen that introduced Lactatia said she wished she wasn't a child. Yeah, that's the same little brat that said, if your parents don't let you do whatever you want, you need new parents. And yeah, what a name, Lactatia.
Yeah, this baby here, this is what I was talking about earlier on with the genderless baby. So we have a Canadian baby registered gender unspecified in post. Okay. So an 8-month-old Canadian boy has been issued a health card that does not specify the child's sex and what could be a world first. It's been done at the request of Corey Doty, a non-binary transgender parent who identifies as neither male nor female. And here's the wonderful little dad right here. Okay. He looked even weirder on the interview they had on.
So dad's transgender.
4? Oh, okay. So that's really a woman as a man now. And they want, this child is genderless. You know, it makes you feel the kids, because they have no say in this. They're not consenting to any of all this. All right.
Hey Ian, oh wait a minute. You're already on a different article, I think. At the very, very top of the article that showed the whole family, the guy on the left was wearing a black t-shirt. I think it said LGBT, lead, bravery. You know, it was listed as a bunch of adjectives. Was that this article or was it the other one that you had up? The very top. That was the other article. Can you go back one article? What was that last article you just showed? I just wanted to see. There you go, right there. What's on his shirt? Yeah, LGBT, lead, grow, be brave, reach others. And is that
Question.
question?
Question what? Question
Wait.
why you got pink hair?
Well, there's your agenda right there on his shirt. Lead.
Look at skull and
Lead.
bones too, right on this girl's shirt over here. Skull and bones with the colors.
Lead.
Oh boy.
Well, there's your whole agenda laid right at lead, grow, which I suppose would be another word for progressivism. Be brave.
Yeah.
Reach others, which is exactly what they're doing. But it's not. This isn't coming from the LGBT community. This is not.
No, it's teach, Aaron. It's teach others.
Oh, teach. Okay, LGBT. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. Teach it. Teach them what? Teach them what? To be sexually devious?
Teach them how to not commit suicide because they're the smallest
because they have the
demographic.
highest rate.
They're literally the smallest freaking demographic on the planet, and they have a suicide rate that's over 40%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're going to teach them how to not freaking kill themselves because they're so fucking confused and messed up in their heads. Hey, kudos there. How you doing?
Yeah. Anyway.
And yeah, C-Space, I agree. This is
It's
Satanism
just crazy
on mainstream.
Satanism. It's all just this do what thou wilt attitude, which is let him write backwards, let him speak backwards, let him read backwards, everything backwards.
Yeah.
This whole thing is built upon that theology. The skull and bones is pretty much built upon that theology, right? We're gonna do whatever they want.
That's Crowley-esque.
Yeah, Crowley. Mm-hmm.
Do as thou
Even
wilt.
before
Shall be the
that,
whole
like,
of the
Crowley
law.
learned from others, right? So it was,
Do as thou wilt shall be the whole of the law.
Yeah, that was called the Book of the Law, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Let's ask Jimmy Page. He lives in his old house.
I want to look at this. Commission on Sexual Orientation and Gender Identity. This is from this is the AmericanBar.org. So let's go see what the lawyers have to say about this. And if I'm not mistaken, doesn't BAR stand for British? Fuck, I wish I could remember that.
Bar?
Yeah. When you're a lawyer and you got to pass your bar exam, the Bar Association.
British Royal. No, British
Let's see
something.
keep an eye on the chat. Somebody in the chat will probably know. Yeah, it's British something. The last one might be royal. I don't know. Commission on Sexual Orientation and Gender Identity, LGBT policy, and the law page. Visit SOGI's policy and the law page, which provides links and overall overview of the progress that the American Bar Association has made in advancing sexual orientation and gender identity.
British accreditation?
Yes.
Is it
But what does the R stand for? That's BA.
Well, I got British Association of Removers, which is they develop and maintain
accreditation
standards.
No, it's accreditation. Book publications. I want to find this article. It's not. It's probably that link on the top there. We have here book publications. Commission on Sexual Orientation and Gender. That is not a link. Featured page. Which provides links and overview and progress in American Bar.
British Accreditation Regency or Registry, one of the two. Registry.
I think it's registry.
Yeah, registry. Yep. The bar is British Accredited Registry.
Council. British Accreditation Council. Right?
Well, no, that would
Oh, that's
be
BAC.
BAC. No, it's. I just looked. I just looked up. It says the British Accredited Registry.
Right.
Okay, so these are a bunch of links here. The links below provides an overview of the progress that the American Bar Association has made in advancing sexual orientation and gender identity issues and policies. American Bar Association, LGBT sexual orientation and gender identity policies, criminal justice section page, President William Hubbard's statement, human rights resolution. Let's look at this guy's statement. We'll find some good stuff here, I bet. Further amendments. ABA says LGBT discrimination violates human rights. Well, any discrimination violates human rights, doesn't it? You know what really bothers me about all these social justice movements is that it seeks to further divide people by making one group special over another rather than enforcing the already on the books laws that would discriminate. The American Bar Association House of Delegates declared last week that lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender people have a human right to be free of discrimination. Well, if they're a human, then they should be free of discrimination regardless.
Regardless.
The group called for the repeal of discriminatory laws around the world. Why? Among the many resolutions passed by the House of Delegates at the American Bar Association's annual meeting in Boston last week, number 114B may go down as the most significant. Condemns laws, practices that discriminate against LGBT. What law discriminates? I would like this person to show me one law that is specifically discriminatory toward LGBT people. Pardon me, I didn't get my pronouns proper. LGBTRSQURSTMICKEYMOUSE. Did I cover everybody?
And Z. You forgot Z.
Yeah.
But, you know, they've already legalized gay marriage. So, I mean, there's already rights for them for that. And there's nothing else that you could link illegal activity to being gay, really. Right?
Unanimously passed the 20-line resolution PDF stating that lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender people have a human right to be free of discrimination, threats, violence based on their LGBT status. See, this is just a big fucking waste of time, dude. Again and again and again, I just have to repeat the same thing. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're black or tall or short or you question your gender. I don't fucking care if you're a LGBTQRSTUV. I don't care. Everyone should be free of discrimination of all kinds, right?
Well, yeah.
Can we just not have one law that says, look, don't discriminate? How about a new amendment to the Constitution? We'll call it the 20th Amendment, and it'll be titled "Don't Be a Dick."
See, and this is where it comes to the circle with the Israel thing, the divestment, sanctioned divestment. It's like they treat it the same way as that you're actually discriminating against them, right? That's what they're saying. You see? So this game is easy to manipulate, right? This whole discrimination bullshit, right? Because they'll say, oh, well, they're discriminating against us, but not buying our products, right? The actions of a few affect the many, right?
So I wonder what the next discrimination is going to be. What sort of what sort of clique of humanity, what sort of group of people will be the next on the list to be discriminated against? I'll bet you it's children.
Goths. Okay, maybe not.
Well, against pedophiles. They want to say that it's a mental illness. They want to push that narrative that it's actually a mental illness.
That's right.
Pedophilia. So that's the next step in all of this. Is that, you know, oh, if you discriminate against him, you're, you know, they'll turn it upside down. I'm sure they will in some way. So anyway, I just wanted to make a shout out. Rest in peace, Bennington, Chester Bennington from Lincoln Park. Rest in peace. He apparently, quote unquote, died and quote unquote hung himself the other day
Yeah, sure he did.
on Chris Cornell's birthday.
Yeah.
And 33 days away from the lunar eclipse coming up.
Yeah, Johnny Supertramp's been putting out a lot of videos on that subject.
But I just want to give a shout out. I grew up listening to Linkin Park. They're one of my favorite bands out there. They seem to speak more truth and stuff. They didn't seem to be as sold out as most of them. They're still allowed to a little bit of creativity, but not much. But they're probably on the island together. They're probably having cocktails right now. They'll have the family come and visit once everybody forgets about it.
Yep.
And they'll all just party with Michael Jackson and Prince and all these other. Apparently, I've seen a thing about Michael Jackson, which I don't want to get off topic here or anything, but he was mentioning Bahrain was a good place for him to go. So I'm thinking he went there. He's living a normal life, which he wanted to do. Right.
Johnny Supertramp said the heroes and the villains all owned by the same hand. Yes, they write this.
Well, of course they are.
That same hand writes the scripts and puts in the heroes and the villains, and hires the actors on
the ISIS fighters.
The world stage, literally a stage.
Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. We're in a big reality show.
Yep.
It's like a Big Brother. We're in a real life reality Big Brother show.
Stealth Anomaly says that we're in a reality.
Watch us fight amongst each other and yell and scream and bicker on the internet and flag people and get, you know, and stir up shit. You throw
they want people to take
into it.
sides against each other so that they don't decide to take a side against the writers of the script, the psychopaths control.
And then the ones that have the biggest voice, they throw on the news, right, and then discredit them. Right?
Yeah, and
right, just like, you know, PK got a big voice there for a long time. He was, you know, everybody was watching PK Truth, right?
Yep.
And all of a sudden, he was on the news in Australia.
Yes, indeed.
Talking about how he was threatening the family or something stupid.
Something really stupid.
They twisted it out of proportion.
Yes.
I think he just called the hospital and asked if somebody was there.
I thumb my nose at you. That's considered bullying and harassment.
I know.
Like, oh my God.
Asking questions. What are you doing?
Yeah, what's wrong with you for asking the question?
Why are you asking questions? Just like when Sergeant Van Hook shooting and said, "Don't believe anything you see on the internet. Just believe what we are giving you as information."
Yeah.
If you're found out that you're believing this, then you will be arrested. In not so many words.
Let us not indulge in wild conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
The perpetrators of 9/11.
That give, that
take away from the evildoers.
Oh, geez.
So I wanted to kind of mention the mainstream media. Okay. Now, we all know that like CNN's been busted, and you know it's pretty well known, right, out there now. It's a common knowledge now that it's fake news, right? Anybody who pays attention to any kind of politics at all will know that it's fake news, right? Most of the time. It's just
Yes.
anti-Trump media. That's all it is, right?
Yeah. It's all yada
24
yada.
hours a day, you hear about Russia this and Russia that, and fucking
What
stupid bullshit.
what
Just
really
lies
cracked
upon lies, right?
what really cracked me up was that when CNN's BS about Russia came out, all the media stopped talking about Russia for a couple of days, and then they were right back at it.
Well, that was the climate
Like,
meeting. During the climate meeting, they all started talking about that, right? How Trump bailed out and blah blah blah,
well,
right? And then they went back and they got caught admitting this with Project Veritas.
yes, yes. Well, it was after Project Veritas that I didn't hear anything on my friend's TV about Russia for, I think it was about 2 days.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they're back at it, talking as if
Yeah. Yeah.
it's really real.
He had dinner at the same table with Putin, and he was talking to him. That's collusion.
Yeah.
I mean, that is literally the argument going on here. It's just crazy. It's really cartoonish, and they're really slapping us in the face right now and saying, "You guys
Yeah,
are fucking idiots. You're buying all this bullshit."
well, yeah, exactly. It's like
No, they're
they
really
don't want
slapping us in the face right now.
they don't want the people who aren't buying it to have a voice, and then they sit there and just mock the people who haven't
Oh, yeah.
got a clue yet.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like, oh my gosh. But when you figure that these poor people, they've been indoctrinated from birth and told that what you see on the news is real, and on and on and on and on. It's like, oh geez, they're at such a disadvantage, and they've noticed that more and more people are going, hey, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense.
so my question is, since the mainstream media has basically, destroyed itself, right? And there's really low trust in what they tell you and what they show you, even to a common person out there knows that. Where do you think the media will be heading this way? More centralized power of media, of information? Do you think that's the ultimate plan here that they have?
Rephrase the question.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, I'll rephrase the question. Okay, we all know that the media is self-imploding, right?
Yes.
So what after the mainstream media? What is
The
it going
Ministry
to
of
be?
Truth.
The Ministry of Truth, exactly. That's where I'm trying to go here with this. I just wanted to get you guys' input on that.
I have a feeling it's going to be something like the Ministry of Truth. I bet you it becomes federalized.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a government-controlled China-style media.
It'll
right?
be a state-run media, and
Yeah.
then it will literally be just like Orwell envisioned, where what's the character's name? Winston, right? Wasn't that his name, Winston?
Right.
His job was to read newspapers and look for errors and make sure that nobody was using the wrong fucking pronouns.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. It'll just be like Orwell wrote. Yeah.
Well,
It'll be like
wrote the blueprint.
an army of editors. Nothing will get printed until it passes. And in fact, I'll bet you it goes to all computer controlled. It'll be all algorithm controlled.
AI controlling the internet of what information is actually put onto your server
Yes.
in your area through your cable service provider,
And while
which will
we're
be
at it,
state run by then too.
that all websites will have editing, so that if it said we're at war with Eurasia, and now we're not, we're at war with, what was the other one? We had Oceania.
Oceania and Eurasia.
Eurasia and East Asia.
East
Okay,
Asia and Eurasia.
So all of a sudden we will always have been at war with East Asia. And, it's like...
And of course there won't be any war. You'll just get reports of how we're doing in the war.
Yep. Well, I think that's kind of the way it is right now, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Really?
we are...
ISIS. Oh my gosh, ISIS. ISIS is doing all this. Right. Sure they are. You know, we're already further along in that 1984 scenario than most people really realize.
Yeah. Apparently, Trump the other day, he cut funding for funding the moderate rebels, but it's just probably because they got caught using the moderate rebels for terrorism that they're cutting the funding, so there's no eyes on them. You know what I mean?
Well, let's address this question or comment here by Las Valdez. Says, sorry guys, I don't see the difference between mainstream or alternative media. They're both control. That's not necessarily true, because I, Amy, Ian, and you and everyone in this chat box right now are part of the alternative media.
Absolutely.
Yep, that's right.
They control part of it, but they don't.
We're broadcasting live worldwide right now, so anybody can join in from any country. We've had people from Denmark, Russia, England. Where else have we had people from?
We got a bunch of Canadians in here right now. We got people in the UK. I think Sandra Textera, I think she's in Brazil, if I'm not mistaken. We got people in Australia. You name it, man.
We had a guy on from Russia, which was really cool. He was living in Moscow, I believe.
Yeah, that was Art Bass. He's in Moscow.
Yeah.
We got the whole world covered, man.
I mean, this is the media, man.
We're broadcasting live. So, I mean, how is this? We can say whatever we want. No one controls us. The only control we have is that YouTube and Google can strike the video. They can strike our channels. They can pull the video. But as it stands right now, you're listening to me broadcast live. And unless they kill the broadcast, I can say and do whatever I want. They have to wait for me. As far as I know, I've never experienced or know about this. I've never seen a live broadcast on YouTube Hangouts get killed in the middle of the broadcast. But I assume that they have to wait for this thing to finish before the algorithm has its way with us. So, I mean, here we are. This is it. So,
yep.
Ohio. I was born in Newcastle, Pennsylvania.
YouTube is censoring my comments. Huh.
YouTube does a lot of that.
Yep. ScrewTube.
Hey, what's up, Bert Trim?
Hey, Bert.
Florida. Bert, you're in the UK, aren't you? Everybody else, let me know where you're at. Tell us where you're at. Illusions in Florida. Yeah, man, we got the whole world covered. I mean, it's like having a syndicated radio show, for crying out loud. This is as awesome as it gets, really.
Yep.
If anybody's on Google Plus, we do have a Google Plus page as well. Conspiracy or not, here we come. I don't know if you guys knew that, Aaron, or not, but
I do. I just never do anything on Google Plus.
Yeah, I never do anything on Google Plus.
Yeah. But if anybody uses that, they can contact us through that as well. So.
Oh, check it out, Ian. Bert Trim. He's a good dude, man. He's in BC.
Right on.
And I won't try and pronounce the name of that town.
Oh, you're pretty close to me. I'm on the island here, Bert. I'm in Victoria.
Coquitlam? Just a guess.
Ian, why don't you pronounce that for us laymen out here?
Coquitlam. I can never even pronounce it either. And I'm from here. Coquitlam. Coquitlam.
Hey, Zorro, I got a really good buddy in San Antonio if you want to hook up with somebody. Bone Rockers in Texas. I got a really, really good buddy in San Antonio. Another Canadian. Wade's in Canada. Netherlands. Underground Sounds is in the...
All right, Wade. Another Canadian.
Is that the actual name of the town? Grote Jesuit? Well, that's not implying anything, is it?
No, we don't know who rules that, do we?
No, we don't know who the...
What, the Netherlands? Have no idea.
Big T's in England.
Calgary. I know, Blue, you're in Calgary. Next time I'm in Calgary, I'm going to hit you up, Blue.
Coolness.
Yeah, we got a lot of Canadians hooking up with the show, man. I mean, Mark, Ian, Blue Blood.
Yep.
And as mentioned, some of the people in the chat here, couple of Canadians in the chat. I don't know what it is, man. We get a lot of attention in Canada with what we're doing here.
Yeah, well, we're few and far up here though when it comes to being awake. People get mad when you try to talk about stuff. You lose friends right away. The room clears right away. I've cleared the room once.
So have you seen Cerebra Sana's new video she put out today, where she's talking about her, she's in Italy.
Well,
And she's saying she's dropping truth bombs to people,
Yeah,
talking to doctors about
that
vaccines
yesterday.
and stuff like that.
It was yesterday, not today.
I'm sorry. I'm confused.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
So you are.
I'm behind the curve. All right.
But yeah, I saw that yesterday, and I'm like, rock on, Cerebra.
So
it's really neat that she's saying that virtually everybody she's encountered is open to the ideas.
The Italians are very politically awake, man. I traveled and vacationed in Rome and Florence, and I'm one of those people who I talk to people everywhere I go. And the Italians, I mean, they protest every day for minor things.
Wow.
Hey, Johnny, I did send you the link in the Skype if you want to come hang out with us for a minute. Anyway, I wanted to say about that, not only are the Europeans largely, Italians for sure that I know of, and Cerebra confirmed that, are very politically awake. They have been very politically awake a lot longer than we have. And I don't know if they're actually making any difference. You know what I mean? I want to go switch from optimism to pessimism a little bit.
Let me close the window.
Because, I mean, for a country that's so full of people that are very well aware and very politically awake, I'm not seeing them make much of a difference. I mean,
maybe it's because they don't have a solution at hand. Nobody's come up with a solution. You know, talking about problems doesn't get you a whole lot of anywhere unless you have a solution, right?
Yeah, and most people don't want to be the guy who stands out first.
We always try to think of solutions.
I agree. People have to start being brave and saying, I don't consent. You know, this is what I'm going to consent to, a better system that promotes the caring people instead of the psychopaths. I know I'm there. It's just that I'm not in a position where I'm even noticed. So,
man, kudos there. Just said Russell Brand is bringing up his child, which is a girl, to be genderless. Sick shit.
That is insanity plus.
What is that noise?
I don't know. It's just your connection.
Wow.
Yeah.
I hate to see what this place is going to look like in another 5 or 10 years, man.
Wow, man. It's going to be just a fucking clown show.
Speaking of which, today is July 21st. So tomorrow is 7/22.
Yes.
Everybody keep your eyes out now because they like to do their things on the 22nd.
22nd. Yes, they do. And Mark's recent video, I didn't get to watch all of it because it came out shortly before we came on the show.
Well,
but he's saying, you know, keep an eye out for the 22nd.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, when it's the 22nd here, it could be already the 23rd over there. So it could be like that's the number 23 as well. So, you like when people say, "Well, yeah, it was on the 20th, right?" Well, the 20th where?
That's a good point, Ian. That's a good point.
Like not in freaking Dubai. Right, it's already like the next day there.
Well, I don't know. Dubai is
people are already up and gone to work, but
Dubai is GMT, aren't they?
I don't know. Are they? They're on our time, are they?
Greenwich.
I have no
Dubai?
idea. I'm just saying,
Dubai's
you
in
know,
the
you
Middle
can go
East,
like
dude.
where?
Greenwich,
You know,
Greenwich.
Yeah, thank you.
you know. I mean, whoever's doing the
welcome.
ritual and pulling it off and sitting in some cavern somewhere doing this magic, if we think they are, right? I mean, what time zone are they on, right? So you got
Well, that's a good point, but nevertheless, it's still the 22nd after today, so anything could happen between now and the next 48 hours. In fact, well, let's see. If it's it's 8:51 right now, which means it's already the 22nd in well, no, it won't. Let's see,
Somewhere.
6 hours. No, let's see. No, I'm gonna do some math in my head, and then a couple more hours. It'll be the 22nd in England, Greenwich Mean Time.
I think what we have to do is take a look at what the local time, or date is, because it's not like they'll do something on the 23rd, but it's the 22nd way over there. It'll be the 22nd wherever it is that it's being done, irrespective of where we happen to be at that time.
Okay, so yeah, thank you, Big P. 22nd right now in the UK. It's 1:51. Really? God, you're up late. Yeah, it
See,
is.
so-
Okay, yeah, 6 hours. So it's almost 9 here. So yeah, okay, that's right. Correct.
because I always think it would probably go on the meridian, right? What is it called?
Prime.
Prime
Prime meridian, right? And I thought maybe it would be based off of that at least, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Possibly, but if it's still the 21st here, they're probably not going to have an event here because it's the 22nd in England, where the prime meridian is. I'm just thinking.
yeah, exactly. That's a good point.
Hey, here's a fun fact that I learned just right before the show. A little bit off topic, not too terribly. C-Space said 7, 11, 22, 23, or 22, 33. Obviously, 11, 22, and 33, those are master numbers, Masonic.
Yep.
But regarding the 33, here's what I learned right before the show tonight. Interesting fun fact. And I need to write it down. I've got my list of 33s somewhere around here. Nikola Tesla. I heard that he died, and actually I heard this it was on the television. I think it was History or whatever show we were watching. Nikola Tesla died in a hotel room. Guess which floor he was on?
33rd?
Yes.
Oh, geez, what a surprise!
Now, I won't ask you to guess the room number. It is a 4-digit number, but it was 3327.
Oh,
Wow.
wow. Which is 66, isn't it? No. 999.
I don't know. It just made my ears perk up when I heard it.
Well,
turn it upside
and
down.
it was Nikola Tesla that said the secrets of the universe can be found in understanding the 3, 6, and 9.
Right.
And you can make out of 3327, you can come up with 3, and then 3 plus 3 is 6, and then 7 plus 2 is 9.
But I was thinking 27 is 9 plus 9 plus 9, right? So if you were to turn it upside down, or if you were to do it on a reflection, right, against water, it would be 666, right? So I just kind of had an epiphany just now about the 27 Club. All those
Aha!
getting killed with the 27.
Interesting.
And they all seem to have an alter ego, which the music industry forces upon them.
And so,
Okay.
so
Either through A, mind control itself, MK Ultra, right? Or B, they just have to go with the image because the contract says so, right?
Right.
And that's the reflective image of their real personality, isn't it?
interesting. Very interesting.
I just had an epiphany there, so food for thought.
So it scrolled by. I don't know who it was a moment ago. I'll see if I can find it. Somebody said Underground Sound said 77 is the most prevalent number that in the last hoaxes and fake news.
Yep.
Yes, we've seen lots and lots of 77s. We've also seen lots and lots. Hey, Brandon Young, didn't see you pop in here. We've also seen lots and lots and lots of 923.
Yes,
That's another big one to keep an eye on there.
And Mark's latest vid, what I saw of it's mentioned the number 17 as well. But I haven't gotten far enough to see where he's leading us with that 17.
Well, the more numbers we pick out of it, the more it discredits itself, right? You know.
Yeah.
But the 369 is the cube. That's the cube equation. Kudos there.
So speaking in numbers, I did want to move and I did want to cover the Justine Damond shooting slightly. I don't want to go into too much terrible detail, but there's plenty to talk about, I suppose. Shot by the rookie officer Mohammed Noor. Regarding the numbers that we've been throwing out here, 22 is coded all over this one. Okay. Justine Damond is said, she's an Australian who is said to have been in America for 2 years. Mohammed Noor, which is the Somali officer, he was on the force for 2 years. And Justine Damond, her stepson to be, because she wasn't quite married yet. They were supposed to be they were engaged, supposed to be married next month. Her son puts out a video. Her son is, or stepson, excuse me, to be 22 years old. So he's 22 years old. She's in America for 2 years. Mohammed Noor, the Somali officer that supposedly shot her, he was on the force for 2 years. So there's your double 22 coded into this one.
Yep.
So this is a Minneapolis shooting hoax we're talking about here. This is the one where everybody is saying that the stepson and the father, or the man who was, engaged to Justine, are gay. Have you guys seen this?
Yeah, I saw something about them being involved with some establishment that seemed to be focused on gayness.
Have you seen the videos of them giving the interview?
No.
Well, I hope we don't get a copyright strike, but I have to show it, especially if you haven't seen it, Amy. And I don't know who in the chat has seen it or who hasn't seen it.
The only thing I've seen is the quote son giving his quote father
The back massage.
a very sensual.
Say it. Hey, we got 33 watching right now. Illuminati confirmed.
33 confirmed. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Chills confirmed.
That's it. That's us.
We got
Anyway,
15 thumbs up, which is 6. So there it is. 369. There it is, right there.
awesome. We're set. Anyway, yeah. He was giving him love rubs. Did you see E's piece? He took the soundtrack from a gay porn movie, put it to that.
A lot of people have done that. Who are you talking? Who did that?
E from Truth Virus.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
videos have been great.
I've seen others where they put some lovey-dovey music kind of stuff, but E's was the only one that had hardcore
porn
soundtrack. And I'm just watching that going, it fits. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was hilarious, man.
Hey guys, if you haven't given us a thumbs up already, do so, because we're on 18 right now. We got to get off that 666.
That's right.
We need one more. Brandon said he's going to give us a thumb down to break that code there. All right, so I'll tell you what, it's all over. You know what? It's not being struck. Johnny, did you want to come hang out with us? And Brandon, I'll throw you a link too if you want to come. We got another hour to go.
What about you, Sandra? Do you want to come join us? You say I've got a topic. What's your topic?
Who?
Sandra.
Sandra Tixera.
Sandra, you got a topic? Did you want to come in, or you want to just throw it in the chat, Sandra?
Yeah, throw us your topic and we'll talk about it. Unless you've already did and we missed it.
Now, I know that Johnny has already covered this, so I'm already on his page. I'm going to see if I can.
And he's already in here with us.
Minneapolis officer startled by fireworks shooting. Here it is. Wait a minute. Yoga teacher, family has no Australian. Oh, that's right. That's right. Her parents are Australian. They have no Australian accent. They give a press conference and they speak like straight up Americans. You guys haven't.
Yeah, they speak straight up American. And
there he is. Hey, Johnny.
Hey they speak straight up American. It looks like it was done in the United States. They said they were in Sydney, but it could have been anywhere. It could have been on a set in some TV studio,
Yes. Or a green screen. Who knows?
Yeah. Anywhere.
Oh.
Yeah, they could have been anywhere.
Underground.
Yeah. So did you hear the latest news, though?
No, maybe not. I don't know.
Well, the latest news is that the police chief of Minneapolis resigned.
Really?
She was out of town at the time that this happened. She was on a business trip or something out of town. So I think what they did is they did a false flag on the police chief. They concocted this scheme in order, because that's who the target of this was. It wasn't the police. It wasn't the body cams. It was the police chief. They wanted to get rid of her. So they concocted this big controversy and ultimately she resigned. So that's what this was really about.
Do you know how old the police chief was?
I don't. I don't have too much information on it yet. I was going to put something together later, but I'm not sure how old she is. I know she's a female, though.
The police chief in Minneapolis? Or no, that was the mayor in Minneapolis.
You know what bothered me about the mayor? The mayor initially came out with her press conference, and one of the first things she said was that she also, she was all empathetic and everything. And then she's like, yeah, I really question why their body cameras weren't on. And my first thought was, let me see, you're the fucking mayor. Wouldn't your first thing be, rather than a question, a disciplinary act?
Yeah,
you'd think.
Right?
I don't know.
Rather than wonder why their cameras were not on, why not? Since you're the mayor, because the mayor rules over the police, right? Police captain answers to the mayor.
Yeah.
So the mayor, if I were the mayor, the first thing I would have said was, okay, you're supposed to have your cameras on. They were not on, and you're fired. You're all fired, and you're all going to be prosecuted.
Speaking of those cameras, I just want to say that I've been seeing things about on the news about how they go back 30 seconds when you turn them on, and I'm thinking, how the hell do they do that unless they've been on all the time?
That. They record 30 seconds of audio before the camera kicks in, or something like that.
How would the camera know?
Yeah.
Well, look, I think that that this was definitely like I said, it was a politically motivated hoax. I wasn't sure if they were trying to get the police to use their body cameras, but it turned out it was no. They just wanted to get rid of the police chief. That's what this was all about, was to get rid of her. All this public pressure, they focused right on her. It was pretty evil, but they really wanted to get rid of her. And she had the mayor was the one who was really behind it all. And she had help from the assistant police chief and the police officers who helped stage the hoax. So it was all about just getting rid of her. Now, as far as the body cameras having 30 seconds of video, the only way that I see that's possible is if it's always on and it's capturing an image, even though it's not storing it.
No, it's 30 seconds of audio.
I don't see how it's possible. You can't turn a device on and have it go back in time and capture 30 seconds.
Exactly.
Unless it's already observing that 30 seconds.
Exactly. But I just want to clarify that it was what I heard was it was audio. It was 30 seconds of audio.
Well, what I heard was that what I heard them say was that it would go back 30 seconds.
Okay, now let me try to put this into perspective for a second. it is very easily possible that the body cameras are set up to record audio all the time. And then when you turn the camera on, that the audio is maybe on a 30-second loop. Okay. So it loops around for 30 seconds. So it stores 30 seconds worth of audio. When you turn your camera on, it captures that 30-second section of audio.
That might make sense. But again, I kept everything I saw and nothing mentioned audio only. You know, if that's the case, if it is just audio that it captures for 30 seconds, these people were saying that they'd get pictures from 30 seconds
No, I heard audio
before.
Well, I mean, they just had that case recently where the cop was caught planting drugs because he turned his camera on and then went after he
That's
planted
where we heard that.
and it caught him. But
Yes.
I'm not sure if I'm buying that story. That sounds like it might be. I mean, these are jokers, man. They play both sides of the field. They are
That's right.
psychopaths.
Good
I mean,
point.
they are playing both sides equally, just to create that divide and conquer. You know.
Yeah, that's a good point. Absolutely. We shouldn't trust a damn thing from these people.
Yeah, we shouldn't trust anything from them. Really take a critical analysis. You know, take a critical look at everything that they're pumping out, because I mean, they've got everyone under this spell because they are so good at what they do. We have no idea. Our government might be more, Nazi Germany like, and they have this facade that they present to us through the media.
It's not
We just
our
don't have a clue
government.
what's going on. They keep us in a bubble.
It's not our government. That's a big mistake that lots of people make. It's a corporation, and it is owned by the investors, who are the psychopaths in control on our planet, who own all the corporations that around the globe called governments. And none of them are there to serve the humans on this planet. They're there to make a profit for the investors. And they are really good at creating an indoctrination and illusion through propaganda that it's somehow ours, that we have any input into it whatsoever. But we don't. The only input that we really have is if they go, oh shit, people are doing this, we better do something and settle them down. That's the closest we'll get to any kind of control over these institutions that are not ours.
That's correct. Speaking of not trusting anything we hear, there was a story that caused a little rift in my household. Nancy and I are big into animals, animal rescue, and that sort of thing. And there was a story that went around on Facebook last week about here in Georgia, there were this was the second case. Now, remember, this is the second case. This article, the Facebook article talked about, or the article posted on Facebook, second case of animal cruelty found in around Georgia, where a dog or dogs were buried up to their neck. Okay. So the article makes it sound like somebody is going around catching dogs and digging holes and burying the dog up to its neck and leaving it for dead. Okay. Now, Sandy Hook happened, heartstrings galore, right? The children, the innocent children.
Yep.
Animals are the only thing that go above and beyond when it comes to innocence.
Yes.
Right? You do something mean to an animal, and you can cause the biggest viral anger wave on the internet, right? Way more than children, actually. I mean, atrocities happen to children every day, but when something happens to a dog, like if you remember, I think it was 2003, the U.S. soldier filmed his buddy soldier grabbing a puppy by a scruff and throwing it over a cliff. The internet went fucking shitball crazy over that one. Okay, I don't know if you guys remember that, but it was a big deal. My point is, the story goes around Facebook, and Nancy shows it to me, and I said, I stopped and I said, wait a minute, and I'm reading, or I'm listening to her tell me read the article, and the article was like, okay, this animal control officer stumbled onto a dog in a creek buried up to its neck, which is, and then the article goes on to say that this is the second incident of a dog buried up to its neck, blah, 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 blah. And I stopped and I went, wait. Animal control officer stumbled onto a dog in a creek. First of all, animal control officers don't wander around the woods of Georgia. Okay? They don't get out of their cars and go wandering around the woods up and down creeks. So the concept of stumbled onto a dog is terribly misleading and probably completely inaccurate. And Nancy didn't like the idea that I questioned the article at all, and so we had a little rift over that. Well, turns out, and I get this from Mom of all people, a follow-up article. This is from 11alive.com, which is our local news station, Channel 11. It's an NBC. Officer rescues dog submerged neck deep in mud. Okay. So, in other words, here it says here, Lawrenceville, Georgia, Officer Hunter Barrett with Gwinnett County Animal Control was called out. He didn't stumble onto. He was called out to reports of a canine barking, and it even gives the actual address, 985 Hodges Way in Stone Mountain. See, this is where you know they're probably a little bit more accurate. They don't say officials say, authorities, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So all your details are here. Here's the address, animal control officer. There's his name. All right. May have seemed like just an annoying dog barking for hours and hours on end turned into a rescue mission. Officer Barnett arrived at the address, blah, 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 after getting a complaint, dog barking. He could hear the dog barking, could not locate it. He finally found a small creek inside the woods where he heard the whimpering, found a dog submerged to his neck in mud and water. At first, the dog growled at him. It just goes on. Officer Barnett picked up and carried the dog, affectionately named Moses, took him to an animal control. So there it is. Nobody stumbled onto a dog. It's not a case of animal cruelty.
Right. It's just.
So I was right. You know, Nancy said, look, this is on Facebook, and she's angry, and rightfully so. I mean, if it was animal cruelty, I mean, we're all over that shit. We're big animal people around here.
Yes.
And I was like, honey, this story doesn't make sense.
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like a story they made up to try and make it go viral. But did they give any details about how many dogs? Was there a number?
It was the original Facebook article said that it was the second case in a month.
Oh, so there's only 2 dogs?
So it was the second case in a month.
Okay.
Second incident in a month where a dog was buried up to its neck. So then I thought to myself, let me see, if I was an asshole, if I was a psychopath and I wanted to be cruel to dogs, and by the way, I've owned dogs most of my life. How hard is it to bury a dog up to its neck? What fucking dog, pardon my language, what dog is going to sit still? And by the way, how much trouble is it for somebody who wants to be cruel to a dog to drag a dog out into the woods where no one can see, dig a hole in the creek, and I'll get to that in a second because I do gold prospecting, and I know what it's like to dig in a freaking creek. You hit rocks. Yes. You can't dig very easily in a creek.
It's a challenge to put it wildly.
You hit bedrock or you hit gravel, river washed rocks. Anyway, how much trouble is it if you want to be cruel to a dog? How much trouble is that to go dig a hole big enough to hold a dog? And then what are you going to do? You're going to sit, stay while you cover the dog up.
Yes.
And then we're talking about loose dirt. Loose dirt. You walk away, you know what's going to happen? That dog's going to wiggle out.
Yep.
So none of that story made sense to me at all.
No. They're just trying to sound like they're trying to make a viral story because I'm sure there's 30 seconds of advertising attached to it.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like Sandra said earlier in the chat. She said about the dog being thrown off the cliff. That story was proven to be a hoax. That was a hoax.
No, it wasn't a hoax. It was a video. We saw the dog get thrown.
Yeah.
So, Sandra, I'd like to know what you're talking about because I saw the video. The whole internet was abuzz
I'm not
over
sure
this thing.
I want to know if she was talking about that or something else. But
Maybe she's thinking of another story because this isn't a story. It was a video that went around. They filmed themselves doing their whatever they do.
Psychopathic stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen the videos of soldiers laughing while they're filming themselves in a Humvee, shooting sheep, throwing hand grenades into a herd of sheep. I don't even want to go there. It make me really mad. But I've seen videos. The soldiers film themselves doing some horrible stuff. It's ridiculous. It's maddening.
They somehow manage to promote at least secondary psychopathy in people when they get them into the military.
All right, so back to Justine Damond.
Yeah.
Damond, the name, you know, they like to choose names that are significant somehow.
Yes.
If you just drop the D at the end of that name, we have Damon.
Yep.
Yes.
yeah,
Kind of reminds me of Damien.
Yep.
Also,
Well,
the name
diamond,
Damon.
or diamond,
Right, thank you, Ian. I was going to go there. That if you switch
diamond
to
in the sky,
Diamond in
Yeah.
the Sky, right? That's a reference
Yeah.
to Lucifer.
Lucifer in the sky with diamonds.
That's right. That's
Right.
right.
And Diamond is a 33, but Damond is a 6. It's a 6, but it's not a 33. But you can divide 6, so it is a 33. So I mean,
Wow.
Diamond or Damon they're both 33.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's definitely not surprising around here.
Okay, so the story on this chick, Justine Damond, she hears a sound, and the majority of the articles and the majority of the news reports say that it was behind her house in an alleyway. And yet there are news reports saying that she ran 8 blocks in her PJs to tell the cops that it was her that called.
That makes no sense.
I mean, there are news broadcasts with a reporter on the street saying, this is the spot where Justine Damond had to run 8 blocks to get to this location.
Ran 8 blocks.
That's what he said.
That makes absolutely no sense.
What,
When
in
you
high
call the
heels?
police,
In high heels?
they come
In
to your
bunny slippers.
house.
Well,
He ran 8 blocks in
In her-
bunny slippers.
in
'cause
her
she was in
onesie.
pajamas.
Ran there in her onesie.
bunny slippers.
Like a little Teletubby.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the story was that she heard a ruckus, right? She heard a noise. Someone she thought was being assaulted. If she had to run 8 blocks, is she Superman's sister? Is she Wonder Woman? How the fuck do you hear something 8 blocks away?
I think she's a graduate of the Bill Nye Power Walking Academy. I think she actually just power walked 8 blocks and then immediately, flagged down a police officer at the exact same moment that fireworks were going off. It startled what's his name, and he
Yeah.
involuntarily screamed Allahu Akbar and shot her.
I'm surprised they didn't throw that in too.
And Johnny, if I'm not
It's
mistaken,
hilarious.
in one of your videos, you also pointed out that the call went out at 11:30, which is another 33, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
They keep coding it. They keep coding the whole thing. It's it's ridiculous.
Johnny, did you hear me earlier when I was talking about the 22 coding all over this story?
Yeah, I think I caught part of that. I was probably
Justine was in the U.S. for 2 years, and the officer that shot her was on the force for 2 years. And her stepson to be was 22 years old. That guy that made that video.
Yeah, they really love the number 22.
Wow.
11, 22, 33.
And 44. Those are master numbers in numerology.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, the story's really ridiculous. The mayor even had a hard time keeping a straight face through most of her press conference. She couldn't even remember the victim's name because that wasn't the point of it. The point of it was getting that damned police chief out of there. That's what she was doing it for. She was pulling a false flag on the police chief.
Are you going to make a video on that? Because I think that's a good premise that you've got going there.
Yeah, I probably will.
It was politically motivated.
Yeah, I mean, but I always knew it was a politically.
It wasn't about the body cameras.
No, At first, it's hard to tell because, but then I heard that the police chief was out of town when all of this took place. I thought, wow, that's a interesting, convenient thing. Go out of town, and all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose, and you come back and have no job.
Oh, that's suspicious as all hell.
Yeah, that's very suspicious.
They probably waited till he was out of town and then did it.
Yeah, and it's a woman. So I think, two cats in the house, two cats in the same litter box might be a problem.
Yeah,
that's what I was told.
Yep.
I don't mean to sound sexist, but
no. Hey, it is what it is, man. Women get catty.
They do.
Especially women of power, right?
Women do. Some
Yes.
women do.
Especially women of power. They get catty.
Two women in power. Can you imagine a police chief and a mayor, both females, the strong personalities those are, and I just can't see it ever working out with two females and like that. In the
I'm
same
going to
house, a mayor
say
and police chief.
it depends on the female.
Yeah, it just depends. Yeah.
Because, I don't think I would have any problems.
It was but that's the same. It's a really good textbook because what they did to the police chief is what they're doing to the public with these other things, with these terrorism and mass shootings and things. Those are being aimed at the public. The public is the target. But in this case, the police chief was a target. It's very interesting to see that happen. That's not something I've seen happen before, really. This is the first time I've seen something happen that wasn't targeted at the public.
So let's also talk about for a moment that the officer Mohammed Noor shot this woman supposedly from his seat of the passenger side. He was in the passenger seat and she approached the driver's window. So let me get this straight. Let me get this straight. You're going to pull your gun, which is in your holster. You're in a seated position. Cop cars. I've been in cop cars, unfortunately. There's a very cramped environment, especially the front seat, because they have a whole freaking computer desk in between the seats. Right? They've got their monitors. They've got laptops. They've got keyboards. They've got radios. In between the driver and passenger seat is like an entire office space. And cops that wear these big belts with holsters, how easy would it be in a seated position in a cramped environment like the seat of a passenger side of a patrol car? How easy would it be to pull your weapon?
Well, he's in the passenger seat, so he's got room in the front of himself to turn sideways and pull it out. And
who in their right mind would shoot within inches of their partner's face?
It's startled by fireworks, apparently.
It's not impossible.
What happened? So there was fireworks going in the background, and he freaked out and shot her. Is that what happened?
That's what they're saying happened.
Yeah.
So even if it was real or a hoax or whatever, it still shows that the police departments train the police to treat everybody as a criminal.
Well,
it's in their training that everybody is the enemy, even a pregnant mom and her kids and everything.
Well, that's always been the case. In Stockton, there was that bank robbery that took that woman hostage, and the police unloaded over 100 shots into the car, killing her and almost everyone else in the car.
Okay,
yeah, so it shows they're trigger happy, right?
So right now I should be screen sharing. Does everybody got me here?
Yeah.
I am on. I want to give credit to this guy here, Rob Lee, Minnesota cop. This is the video title: Minnesota cop kills woman, or did he? True story told. I just want to highlight something that I found in this video that I thought was worth sharing. Chosen members of police departments play their part. I'm at 14 minutes and 34 seconds into his video. He shows a couple of pages of what you can see right here. Alabama, Connecticut, Colorado, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Delaware, Florida, Georgia. Let me see. Where are the other ones here? California, Arizona, Alaska. What do they have in common?
Freemason symbols everywhere.
Yes.
Every single one of them. These are police
they're all in
badges.
the fraternities.
These are police badges by state. And here's
that
the
shield. Even that shield pattern is occultic as well.
And the star.
Yeah.
The shield.
Everything
Yeah.
about it. The sunrise, everything.
And it's worldwide. It's not just here in the United States.
No, it's worldwide. Yeah.
Yeah.
They run it all.
Like I said,
Well,
the
police is,
psychopaths are in control of the planet.
the word police is 33 in gematria. So.
Hey,
It's
Yes, it
33 in
is.
Pythagorean also.
hey, look at this one. Second from the bottom, second from the right. The Utah Highway Patrol. It's a beehive.
Yep. It's a beehive.
Yep.
Yep.
They got something with
Yeah.
bees. I've never quite gotten into the depth of that meaning, but I do know that it's important to them.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose if you considered the premise of the movie 1984, ultimate goal is to get everybody in a hive mind scenario.
Hive
That
mind
could
mentality.
be applicable. Yep.
Have you ever seen the movie 1984? Or did you read the book?
I've read the
Yeah, I
book
have.
They're not allowed-
100 times.
They're not allowed to say hi, John, hi, Mary. They have to say hello, brother, hello, sister.
Oh, really?
Everybody is so programmed that they can't even talk normally to each other.
Wow.
Yep.
But in this video from Rob Lee, I just wanted to highlight because I thought it's something, page after page, literally state by state, every single one of them. They were all, and I knew this. I'm just highlighting. Here's another page. They're all Masons, every damn one of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here
I mean-
we have on the bottom left corner here. It's the is that the 36th Masonic District Emergency Services Degree Team.
Yep.
Yep. Every township, every state, every city. These are all police badges. Boston, Sunbury, and fire departments. Philadelphia.
Order
Yeah.
of chaos on every one of them.
Ordo ab chaos. Actually, Ordo ab chaos is a really kind of a misnomer because chaos has an infolded structure that emerges through time.
Well,
What Ordo ab chaos really means is control out of pandemonium, which is a little different.
It's like the rise of the phoenix symbolism. Right? Out of the ashes rises the phoenix.
I think there's perhaps something even deeper, Amy, perhaps more esoteric on a universal level, on a level of physics, that all things tend in the world of physics, all things tend toward chaos.
Well, yeah, nature is chaos. It emerges through time in an ordered fashion, though.
Well, speaking of chaos, what do you guys think of Nibiru? What do you think of the whole idea of Nibiru coming back? And
I think it's hoo-ha. That's just me.
Well, I'll tell you that all the videos I've seen are hoo-ha. That's much is for sure.
Yes, exactly.
Everybody who says, "Oh, look, here it is," and it's a freaking lens flare again. Another lens flare. Oh, there it is. Confirmed. There's Nibiru. I see it.
those sighting things, you can't. Yeah. Just the whole concept itself of what is it? The ninth planet, Amy? Is that what it's called?
Well, I don't know. They've named a gazillion things.
What is Zachary Sitchin's novel called? The ninth planet?
You mean
or?
Zachariah?
Zacharias, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't keep up with Sitchin much because I do know that although there were some things he was right about, there were many things that he was wrong about. It turns out that Nibiru seems to actually refer to an area of observance. In other words, you might say, look at the zenith, which is, straight up above. And it's on that order, is my understanding. So the whole story about, this planet that needed gold and all that seems to have been pretty much fabricated by Sitchin. So I don't give him a whole lot of credence.
You, Johnny?
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I kind of wandered there for a second.
You know what we're talking about?
Yeah, what are you guys talking about?
Nibiru. Do you believe in Nibiru or not?
Yeah.
I believe there's another planet, but I don't, you know, I mean, I don't really have an opinion on that. That's not
Like
something I've
Planet
really
X?
looked at.
You mean?
I've never really looked at it.
There's really not enough information to make any kind of definitive, opinion, really. It's not at all inconceivable to imagine that there are all kinds of celestial bodies that come in and out of our solar system. Some of them on huge cycles. Halley's Comet, for instance, is a 76-year-old cycle.
Yep.
I was lucky enough to see it once, and I'll never see it again. Other than that, there's just no. I mean, what's the point? What's the point of worrying about that one?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Didn't Halley's Comet, was that Halley's Comet or was that Hale Bop that took the Heaven's Gate cult with them?
That was Hale Bob.
That was Hale Bop.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah,
You know how often that one comes around?
I do not know.
No clues. And as I recall, it sort of fizzled. There really wasn't much to it when it
Now, we also have, on the subject of Nibiru, I will say that I do believe that it is probably true. The probability that this planet exists is very high, in my opinion. I would also like to point out that we have an asteroid belt around our solar system. And that asteroid belt is made up of rock, right? Chunks of planet, a leftover planet that was struck.
Yes.
Something, and I'm pretty sure it was called Tiamat.
Yes.
Yeah.
And something came into our solar system, and it came in so close. And if you've seen the Electric Universe documentary, that Mars came so close to this planetary body that there was an electrical discharge from one to the other that was so massive that it carved out Valles Marineris within a matter of, hours.
Yeah, really quickly. I'm not going to say that I don't believe there is nothing out there on that order. I just don't believe the Sitchin stories. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't believe that the ET that visited us had anything to do with a planet named Nibiru getting gold for their atmosphere. I just don't believe it.
Well, I had an interesting, my first DMT experience. I was thinking about doing it tonight. I'm actually going to extract pure DMT tonight, but I had an experience where I just capsuled the bark and swallowed the bark. And in that first experience, I saw a lot of things. But one of the things I saw was this golden man. He had his arms crossed and he was laying on his back, and he looked like a pharaoh. And he slowly morphed into a galaxy. It looked like maybe it could have been our galaxy. I don't really know, but it definitely morphed into a galaxy. And then a few days later, I went to San Diego because I was living up in Sacramento. I went to San Diego, and this woman comes to the door. It was Jehovah's Witness. And I said, no, no thanks. And as she was leaving, she opened up her Bible to give me some kind of literature. And she opened it up to a page of that man that I had in my vision. And that really tripped me out. I mean, I flipped out at that. I'm like, I couldn't believe it. The remarkable coincidence, the meaningful coincidence. And,
Wow.
And what happened is that I think I've been trying to figure out who this golden man is ever since. And it led me to a Bible vision that describes my vision pretty damn close, that Nebuchadnezzar had of this man. But his man was different, made of different metals. Mine was made of purely of gold, and he was laying on his back. But this man, this golden man, I think is described as the deity or god Enlil. Are you familiar with him?
Yes.
Oh yeah, Sumerian.
Right. And you see this golden man a lot in looking at artifacts from all over the world. You see this golden man, and he has his arms crossed, and you see variations of this golden man, like with an Oscar and and you just see it everywhere. Like C3PO also was a golden man. So you see this golden man symbolism. I started looking back at in art and stuff, and I kept seeing this golden man symbolism. And I'm thinking this is where it all comes from, going way back. This golden man was described to me as somebody as possibly Enlil. And I've always been trying to figure out, why did this golden man turn into the unit to galaxy? Was it trying to tell me something? Was it telling me that it created this galaxy or this universe or this world? That it is somebody important. And I see this golden man going all the way back to some of Zachariah's work as well, with the Sumerians. I've seen some of this imagery, and he's always got his arms crossed in some capacity across his chest.
Well, Buddha was a golden man.
Oh.
That's all I got on that one.
Yeah, and in fact, they have that huge Buddha statue. I can't remember which country it's in. It's gymongous. It's made of gold. It's worth a fortune. But this golden man symbolism goes way back. You see it a lot in art and stuff. And I don't know what it is. I know other people must have seen this, had the same vision as I had, because it's described in the Bible, just with a different metal. I think the one that Nebuchadnezzar described, it had iron or clay feet and iron legs, and it was bronze.
Right,
it was a bunch of different metals.
Yep.
I wonder if what you were seeing was the light body, what's been described by the New Agers as the light body.
I don't know. I mean, whatever it was a living conscious entity that was showing me who it was, but I just haven't been able to narrow down who it was. I know that it's not a person. The people that had the Bible, I explained to them. I says, that's the man I saw in my ayahuasca vision. So she said that this is not really a man, but it's a symbol of world power. So it's not really a person, but more of a symbol. Everything's a symbol, right? Of world power. And me not being religious, I know that I'm missing out. I probably could have connected a lot more dots at the time, but I had to take the long road to get there. But I think these symbols are this symbol is a symbol of world power, that like what the government on Earth today. But that's not at all what my vision looked like. My vision looked more like it was a universal power. It was a power, a God power, because it morphed itself into a galaxy right in front of me. It's really quite remarkable.
I had an epiphany. I had a deja vu today, watching Kafka Winston World video. And I've had many deja vus throughout my life. In some periods of my life, I have them regularly. And I haven't had one in a long time, but I'm watching Kafka video where she's interviewing this family in South Carolina where their land is being taken by eminent domain. They need to put in a sewer line. This family has owned this property for 3 generations, over 100 years. They've been on this property that they've owned. Prominent members of the town that they live in. Some of their family members have been pretty prominent, and this big battle is going on. Kafka is nearby. She goes down and interviews these people. And I know that what I'm going to describe to you is not very profound, but because I really, it's hard for me to put it into words. But there was a moment where she starts to interview the family on their property. The cops are there and everybody's gathered. They're trying to stop the construction. They're in litigation, and that the city is moving forward with the construction of this pipeline. They're tearing down trees. They got a big fire trail cut through their 45-acre piece of property. There's this moment where I literally paused the video and I had to pick my jaw off the floor out. I was like, it was just like a massive deja vu. It was like, I have been there, or I have seen it. I've either seen this, or I've been here watching this video, or I've been there where they are. I don't know what it was. But it was super duper profound. I had to stop the video and really reflect on it for a few minutes. And I've attributed so far in my life, I've attributed almost all of my deja vu experiences all the way back to when I was a child, less than 10 years old, and I had the most extraordinary, vivid dreams. And I've attributed most of my adulthood deja vus back to my childhood dreams. And I am under the strong impression that when I was a child, that I was, during my dream state, that I was seeing moments, having visions of the future. And so that's the end of my story. Again, for you, it's probably not that profound other than to listen to me tell it. But for me, it was extraordinarily profound. I haven't had a deja vu. And I'm watching this video and it's like smack, it's like reading a book and a brick flies out and hits you in the face.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never had a good experience with deja vu. Always it precedes some sort of disaster in my life.
Mine are always these, there's nothing particularly significant about the moment. The most significant part is that I'm so sure that I've seen this and done this before. I mean, almost 100% certain, near 100% certainty.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very strange. I had a big one precede a disaster in my life 5 years ago. And yeah, I mean, it's incredible. It's almost, I studied that a lot. I studied that a lot using psychedelics. I've studied why, what could be causing this? Are we moving around in time and dimension, or, what's going on? Did we just do a quantum jump? Who knows? It just seems very, very strange. I've had really bizarre experiences with deja vu.
So I just got a message from Amy. Did you get rid of the guy?
Well, he wasn't being rude.
So is he still there?
Yeah, I would think so.
Private Jan is in our chat right now.
What?
Well, he's under
Private Jan Solo.
Private Jan Solo.
Is it?
And I'm figuring that's probably him.
I'm not.
I'm guessing.
Nick, Sandra, Broadsword, David, C-Space,
Scroll up.
Kudos.
In really big, bright, my name, Amaterasu in orange. He said, true, Amaterasu Solar. And I'm guessing that's Private Jan.
Is it after you talk about your DMT experience? Because you only get the bright orange on your end. I see my name in bright orange and no one else.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, yeah, I said Earth.
Oh, there he is. Janzelo, Private Janzelo.
Private Jan Solo.
Private Jan.
I don't know.
Hey, Private Jan Solo, are you from Canada?
By any chance, do you speak sort of Eastern tongue?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
So did you guys hear that Hello World went down today?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Who?
Aw.
Do you know why?
Down.
Do you know why? What reason?
I believe it had to do with a Grenfell Tower video.
Really?
Yeah.
I discovered today that Black Child got a, I think it might have been his first strike. I don't know if it was his first one or not, but he got a community strike today. I found this out today, and the reason I bring it up is because it's the same reason that a large growing list of other people. Hello, old friends. Yeah, that's our Private Jan.
Yes, it is.
Hi, sweetheart. Hey, see if you can hack your way into our hangout this time and leave us some S&M video. That was awesome. Anyway, Black Child, it was Virginia hoax. That's why he got his strike. So the growing list of channels is getting up close to 10 that I know of that got strikes or terminated because of Virginia hoax videos.
Yeah, I think there's even more channels that they're just not. There's a couple that escaped me what they were. They weren't channels that I followed, but that also got taken down for similar videos. I'm wondering who these people are that are organizing. I'm thinking it has to be part of that infrastructure that is somehow connected to these hoaxes.
Oh, it absolutely. It absolutely has to be, because when it comes to Virginia, we have to remember that Chris Hurst, Mr. White Hot Love Boy, he's running for public office right now.
Oh,
Yep.
sweet boy. Yeah, sweet boy
Yes.
is running for office.
Yes, he's running for office.
Perfect place for a faker Freemason criminal to go. Is right into
Yep.
office.
Yep. Yeah, what they're trying to do is clear the web of much of anything that points to all of his shenanigans with that total farce of a shooting.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if anybody calls him out on it. I'm not following his campaign, but I should be, because I'd like to see if anybody calls him out on it and how he responds to it. If he just ignores it, or if they conveniently nobody brings it up and none of his opponents bring it up, that'll be very telling as well. You know, it'll really get some insight into what, you know,
Sure.
this hand that seems to be in control of everything with all the money. Because it seems like nobody's talking, you know, we've not had one single politician, not one single elected official ever question 9/11. Not one. You would think there would be at least one, but there isn't a single one that ever has.
Right. Well, Trump, you know, he mentioned it
He mentioned it just to get elected, but
during his campaign. He mentioned it, right? So he got all the truthers on his, and by the way, it was astounding to me to watch how many people in the alternative truth community were on the Trump bandwagon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that blew me away. I just kept sitting there going, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They're all puppets for the same corporation.
And you know, the media, they demonized him, but they also gave him 80% of media coverage, if not more.
Easily. Well, you know, this is my thought on why they did that. It was because, you know, they kept pumping up Hillary as, you know, she's the shoe-in, that kind of thing. So that when they announced that Trump won, that he was selected, although they didn't put it that way, it made people think voting works. And when you think voting works, you register to vote.
Yeah, whether it's on the left or the right too, Amy.
When you register to anything,
You hand over ownership.
You are giving the ownership of it to the king, the state, the rulers, whatever.
The registrar.
So when you register to vote, you are giving your sovereignty, yourself, to the corporation to do with as it sees fit. And that means if you've registered to vote, they can spray you with stuff in the sky, and they can, you know, put crap in your food and crap in your water and whatever else they want, and force you to get stuck with poisons, you know. It's like, once you've registered to vote, you are no longer yours. You are theirs.
Two things I want to throw out here. As far as Trump goes, we all need to probably hop on over to Mark Dice's channel and truth bomb his ass, because he is selling Trump 2020 t-shirts.
Oh my God.
And and I would like to address a statement made by Rick Rinberg in the comments in the chat box. He said, "We can arrest them all." Nick, if you have an idea how we can do that, I would very much like to know, because as far as I'm concerned, that's not at all feasible or possible. You have to remember that the police, the courts, the entire government structure, they're not on our side. So what do you do? What do we do with them after we arrest them? Because we're not law enforcement. We're not sanctioned by the government to arrest people. And I know that citizens' arrests are a legal part of our system. You can detain someone until the cops arrive, but you can't try them. You cannot convict them. You can detain someone and call the cops. You can arrest someone, and then you got to call the cops.
Well,
Citizens' arrest is a real thing. You can arrest someone, but that's as far as it goes.
That's as far as it goes in that system. But if you're not consenting to that system, and you're consenting to the system, say, for example, that I suggest.
Well, okay, let's say that we do consent to your system, Amy. Now we'd have to have a whole separate citizen court system And
Well,
we have to have a whole system that would punish these people with after convicted.
Okay, the people who care will make sure the person is confined. The people
I'm not confining nobody in my basement.
I understand that. Obviously, you don't.
But I care. I'm just saying. I would like to take part in that system. But how does that work?
Confined in your basement, but you would.
I'm being sarcastic. I'm just saying. How does that work?
You would get people who would be willing to watch over them and keep them confined. You know, if enough people care, there'll be enough people to take on those duties.
We need facilities. We need structure. We need.
Well, I'm sure you can find a facility to hold somebody in, and then
no, that's easier said than done, Amy. Facilities are privately owned. You have to have a facility that's vacant, not being used, and owned by someone who's agreeing with your system to use it for that purpose. I mean, it's not that easy to just go find facilities to hold people like George Bush and Zbigniew Brzezinski for their war crimes.
Well, yeah, the problem is that everything's owned by them.
Right.
At this stage in the game. I understand that. You know, it's not going to be easy, but when enough of us have decided to do it that way, especially without money, nobody owns anything except that which they live in. You know, that becomes what you own. There's no point to owning anything.
But then what do we do when the guys with guns and badges come and stop us from what we're doing and say, you can't do this, it's not the law?
What if you say, we'd be happy to be subject to your rules if you prove we're subject?
That works great when the people holding the guns are moral and ethical.
Well, you should. It
and
would
not
probably
Freemasons and part of this.
It would probably be a good idea for you to have some guns too, and I
now
think
it's
that's
a
why
gunfight.
they want to take it away from us.
Now we're talking about a gunfight.
It's not a gunfight. It's a standoff.
I told you, Amy. There's no. I agree with you, and I love your system, but I just don't see it ever happening in a peaceful, bloodless way. There's going to be blood. Okay, this is not going to end.
I'm hoping there won't be, but if there is, what can I do about it?
So I hate to interrupt here. They're right now on Twitter. Minneapolis is trending, and I guess the people are going crazy. They're calling for the resignation of the mayor. I'm watching some video on Twitter.
Drop a link.
Yeah, they are going.
Drop a link in the chat here.
Resign. I think it was a dirty thing to do. You know, anytime they run these hoaxes and false flags, even on our officials, it's it's just dirty business.
Do you follow or you subscribe to 108 Morris 108?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Do you know who that is, though?
No.
Okay. He's this old guy. He's a journalist. He's an old journalist. I think he lives, forgive me, I don't know where. He might be in Cambodia. He's somewhere very foreign where he currently lives. And he puts out usually about one video a day. Very political, very knowledgeable, old journalist, really, really knowledgeable. He put out a video.
Thailand.
Thailand? Is that where he's at?
Yeah.
I think he's in Cambodia or something like that. He put out a video the other day that was nothing more than he was reading a comment from one of his commenters that said, many people in Minneapolis do not believe this story.
Awesome.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to go, I mean, I wish I could afford to go and just poke around and ask questions and talk to people and get the real story, not the one the media is piping through piping out of their live boxes. I'm sure the story is very different on the streets there, but yeah, looking at this video, these people look really, really pissed. They're screaming. They're demanding, and this is at a city council meeting. They're demanding the resignation of the mayor. So it looks like this might backfire and kill two birds with one stone.
This is awesome. That might be really good news.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Unless it's manufactured. We don't know for sure.
Yeah, that could be too.
I'm curious. Kudos there said, and I don't know if Kudos is talking. The comment is for us in reference to what we just said, or if Kudos there is talking to somebody in the chat box. But they said got friends who live there now and I don't know if you mean Minneapolis, Minnesota. They have nice lives. It's not all bad. And if you're talking about Minneapolis, I'm just interested in what you meant by that comment there. I don't know if you were talking to us or someone else. Anyway, sorry. So that's really, like I said, that's potentially good news. I'd like to see where this is going. I'll keep an eye on that. And did you drop us a link? Drop us a link, Johnny. I want to see. No, you're talking about Twitter. This is Twitter blowing up.
Yeah, if you go to Twitter, there's a hashtag Minneapolis, and there's some video of the mayor meeting citizens. So it could be staged. I mean, that she has to know that these citizens are pissed off, right? So she went to give a statement. Why else would she go meet the citizens unless she wanted to be crucified? And they are definitely crucifying her in this press conference. They are just screaming at her that they want her resignation.
That's gonna now. I'm not on Twitter. Is it possible for someone who's not on Twitter to go hashtag Minneapolis and go read?
I think all you have to do is just go to twitter.com and look at I don't think you have to sign in. I could be wrong. I probably am wrong. You probably do have to have an account.
Well, I'm going to check on this browser because I've never signed into Twitter.
Can I screen share with you?
Yes, you can, sir. I will highlight you so that you stay put.
Okay, let me see if I can get this. Because I can show you right from here what's going on. Okay. Screen share.
Bye, Sandra. We're going to be shutting down in a few minutes anyway, hon. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you all the time.
Sorry, I got kicked off. Okay. Okay. Let me show you. All right, you got my screen?
Yep, got you. There's
Okay.
108 Morris right there.
Yep, right there. Here's the conference here. Are you able to hear that at all?
Just barely.
We're going to put somebody in place to remove you. We do not want you as the minister ever again. We would like you to move out of our city. Your police department has terrorized us enough. Your press conference is ineffective because you won't let the people in. And you didn't want to hear us, so you hear me now. We do not want you as the mayor of Minneapolis, and we're asking you to resign. We do not want you up in there. You have been ineffective. You are not a head coach. You are not ineffective.
Dang.
So I hear and understand, for folks who are listening, I hear and understand.
You are ineffective as a leader, and we want you to step down just as your chief architect did. And we don't want you to appoint anybody. We want you to take your staff with you because they've terrorized us. Not sit down and stay.
I hear and understand. I hear and understand your objections and the work that we've done.
This is our house.
Dang.
I'm going to say that's staged, and you know why? Look at that guy with the camera. What kind of image is he getting? He's getting the back of the head of this guy, and he's making no efforts to move around, but it gives the impression of press conference, right?
Okay, I hear you, Amy. That's not. I mean, I don't know.
That's my feeling here.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it looks pretty real to me, but I haven't really looked at it, you know. But yeah, I mean, this is the mayor right here, I believe.
She reminds me of Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah.
When you watch her talking, she looks like maybe she's a made-up Sigourney Weaver playing the part of mayor.
Yeah, she's definitely. I mean, I can see why people would be pissed. I mean, I think this was a psyop on the police chief to get rid of the police chief, because they did it while she was out of town. But I mean, the people are right. They are terrorizing the people with these fake hoaxes. And
Anthony 2B just showed up in the chat box. He said it's a hoax.
he says it's a hoax. Yeah.
Yeah.
You mean the press conference? Are you talking about the press conference?
I guess so. He just said it's a hoax. He didn't elaborate.
Okay. There. I think I turned screen sharing off. Is it off now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I mean, the headline did say protesters interrupt press conference. And so I don't, you know, it's so hard to tell. But on the other hand, we have to always remind ourselves that these guys are nothing but pathological liars, and we shouldn't trust a damn word they say ever.
Yeah, this could be just another divide and conquer. I mean, she had to have known that there was going to be a lot of criticism. If you're inviting the public into a press conference, you have to know. I mean, she would have to know that there was going to be a lot of sparks. I mean, why else would she bring everybody into the press conference, bring the public in, and not just the press? Usually it's just the press, but here she's meeting with the citizens, I guess. And I don't know if that's part of the plan or if that's just, or what's going on with that. But I mean, it could be staged. What does Anthony 2B say about that?
He says, I'm talking about the press conference and the whole story. Well, we know the story is fake.
Yeah, we know the story is fake for sure.
But he did say he did clarify that he thinks the press conference was a hoax also. And I would tend to agree with that, just simply because of what I said a minute ago, that we just shouldn't trust a damn word any of these people say ever.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
If it's on the news, don't trust it at all.
Yeah, they're really skilled at manipulating the public and creating
they
false
are
perceptions.
Yep.
They're absolutely masters at manipulating public perception.
Absolutely.
And it's something like this, when you got an angry black man screaming at the mayor and nobody's shutting him up or cutting his mic or police are not escorting him out.
And you've got a cameraman videoing the back of his head and not
we did have
around.
Look, another cameraman got him on the front, Amy. So let's be clear. Fair enough.
But I'm just saying, I just don't see that as a realistic thing happening of a cameraman. No, he could have been from a different news service, and he's not going to say, "Oh, I think we need the back of this guy's head."
I don't know. I don't know.
He could have been citizen journalism as well. You know, he could have just been somebody from the public.
Hey, somebody got him from the front, okay, and that's what we just looked at.
Yes.
The point I wanted to make was when they do things like this, where they show us images of angry protesters, angry citizens, you know, screaming truth to power, etc.
Right.
What that does psychologically in the mind of all the people who are watching, it provides a false sense of anger relief, a venting process. It gives people a chance to go, hell yeah, tell that bitch, and then they vent their anger and then they go back to work.
Well, I don't know. I definitely think they like to piss people off. I mean, look at Grenfell Tower. That whole thing was staged to really, really outrage people. And, you know, the news always, if you look at some of these news stories, like on Drudge Report and elsewhere, they say, you know, the city did this that outraged all these people, or this sparked outrage. And it's like they're looking for every way possible to be as offensive and piss people off and divide people. And this looks like a pretty big divide right here. The city and the state, or the people versus the city. It's a pretty big divide. I mean, these things, and it's hard to understand why they would paint themselves in a bad light, like with Grenfell Tower. You know, the government, Theresa May took a beating from the public over that, but I think that's what it was designed to do. You had people on the street who were inciting others with anger, and, you know, they're not telling us the whole story. They had actually actors planted in the city that were pushing propaganda. They were saying, you know, we don't have everybody in the building die because they're just not telling us the truth. when in fact nobody was in the building. The whole thing was staged, but they, wanted to paint this conspiracy that the government was covering it up to create outrage in the people. And boy, they sure did. They really outraged a lot of people. That was a very successful operation. Not to mention they got rid of a tower that they didn't want.
We talked about that on one of our shows. Crisis actor, it seemed, who came up and said he was the hippie looking guy, and he said, oh, this was done on purpose. They didn't, the cheap renovations they did and all the rest of it.
Piki Saku.
Yeah.
Piki. Yeah. And he was from, what was it? The Ivy League? What was it?
Charterhouse.
Charterhouse.
Yeah.
And he was pretending to
another
street
actor,
hippie
right?
around.
Wasn't he just another
Well,
actor?
sure.
Well, I don't know if he's got an IMDb page, but he's a rapper. That much is for sure.
Yeah. So he's in the entertainment industry in some capacity.
Yeah. Now we've heard of the Craigslist ads that hire crisis actors, right? Can you imagine what there is out there with these black ops? They're just hiring people to do these things, and they have to sign disclosures.
So Cerebra Sana's in the chat box. She just said hello. She's in.
Oh, hey, Cerebra.
She's still in Italy right now.
Yep. It's 4:05 in the morning, she says. Oh
Wow.
my gosh. That is just way too ridiculous an hour. I don't think she knows what sleep is.
That's what I just said. I was like, wow, girl, don't you ever sleep?
Yeah, I don't think she knows
She's nocturnal.
how to sleep.
All right, guys, it's been real and it's been fun.
Yes, it has.
Thank you very much.
So, Johnny, it's always a pleasure to have you. I do enjoy your videos, and like I said, I don't know if you heard me when you were in the chat. I've had to resubscribe to you like 3 times already now.
Right. Yeah.
Are you
And then Illusion Shattered just said that she also. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Are you putting on the bell?
Am I?
Yeah, when you subscribe, click the bell and
Sometimes I do, but I mean,
Well-
whether I should have to resubscribe is irrelevant. I mean, that's a
the thing is,
separate issue.
if you put the bell on, it tends to keep you from being unsubscribed.
I didn't know that.
I have found that to be true. I have not found myself unsubscribed to people that I've set the bell to give
Your
me
notifications?
Yep.
Huh,
Just
interesting.
subscribing. See, I've lost people when I just subscribed, and then I'd have to go back and resubscribe. But turning on that bell seems to lock you in pretty well.
Huh. Okay, that's good to know, I guess. Thanks for that.
Well, thanks everybody in the chat once again.
Thank everybody.
Thank you very much, guys.
Johnny, stay cool, brother. I'll be in touch with you. Now we're connected on Skype. Check your Skype maybe a little more often than once a month.
Okay, I sure will.
Yeah, really.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, be good, everybody. Broadsword, Cerebra Sana, Underground Sound, C-Space, Nick Ringberg. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Young Guts, Blue Blood J, as always. Always good to see you. Boneless Rocker, Joanne Galvin, and even Private Jan, who's been a pretty nice guy tonight. And if that is the same one, he did just say, I said your new friend will not be giving you any more BS tonight. So I don't know if that's actually him, but if it is, probably is. Doesn't matter. Thanks, everybody. You guys ready, Ian? Kudos there. Young Guts, C-Space.
Love always.
Illusion Shattered. Who have I not mentioned? Brandon Young was in here. I remember that one. Ian, just go whenever you're ready, pal.
All right, thanks, guys. See you next week.
Love you guys. Be good. Sandra. Anthony 2B. Everybody stick around for a minute.
Alrighty.
I'm gonna keep the broadcast going. We're still showing 28 watching. There's something I forgot to do. I wanted to mention this. This is not my idea. I don't take credit for it, but I think it's a good idea. I do think it's a good idea. Just for fun. I would like to do a remote viewing experiment. I gotta stop my screen share, and I have to show you something so that you can put your minds around it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put an object inside of a case, and then next week I'll reveal what that object is. And what I would like you guys to do is leave me a comment in the video on my channel or Amy's or Ian's channel, because we all mirror the same show. And what I would like to do is I'm going to put an object. I'm going to take out these other objects so that there's only one object in here. And we're going to do a little remote viewing exercise. You guys guess what this is? Now, the case is irrelevant. It happens to be a leftover. My wife does dog grooming. Okay, so it's an old. So it's got dog paws on it. So ignore all that. It's just a case. But there's something in here. I just put something in here. So leave me a comment and don't guess. Okay, this is a remote viewing exercise. And by the way, this is not my idea. I got this from Richard Serrett of the Conspiracy Show from Canada, Toronto. It's a good idea. Let's give this a try. So there's an object in that case. I want you guys to. That's if you care. If you want to, don't guess. I don't want off the wall guesses. I mean, if you want to be funny, that's great. I'll have a laugh. But genuine, and then we'll figure out some sort of prize. I don't know, and we'll be honest about it, and we'll send it off. And I don't know what we're gonna do, but I want to try this out. Okay, this is our first time remote viewing experiment. There's an object in that case. Show it to you again. It's got a strap. It's just a case, but there's something in there, and you guys try to figure out what it is. And again, this isn't about guessing. Have your own meditation sessions, do your own remote viewing things. Leave me a comment and see if you can tell me what's in that case. What do you guys think of that, Amy, Ian?
I like it. I think it's a great idea. Have everybody give it a shot.
Okay, well, thanks, Johnny, and thanks everybody for watching. Ian, you've gone quiet on me. Are you? What's going on? Uh-oh. I wonder if his microphone is messed up. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end the broadcast. I'm done with my little thing here.
Your
Amy?
little experiment.
Yeah. Amy, any last thoughts?
Just that we got to one of my list. Yeah, one of my list.
Okay. Well,
We'll do another one some other time.
hey, just start a new list and put whatever we didn't get to on the top, and that's what I always wind up doing.
Yep.
All right, you guys. I'm gonna kill it here. Thanks everybody. Love you. See you next week.
Love always.